us. And here we go.
In 5, 4, 3.
Call to me, lands far away.
Elves have forests to protect.
We need to build a wall.
Dwarfs their mines. Men their fields of grain. But we Harfoots have each other.
For I must now wander this wandering day.
We're safe.
You have fought long enough, Galadriel.
No.
Put up your sword.
The enemy is still out there. The question now is where?
It is over.
Nothing is over! Nothing! You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them!
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
Darkness will march over the face of the earth. It will be the end, not just of our people, but all peoples.
Everyone! I am sorry, but their time has come.
The past is with us all. The past is dead. We either move forward or we die with it.
This could be the beginning of a new era.
Away I must wander this wandering day.
To him finally being lionized in the prime and his prime. Fuck.
Do it!
Shit.
Just do it! Don't let your dreams Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true!
Luke went from being... Oh, no. Welcome, Slayer Nation. I have some great news for you today. I hope you're all doing great. Nope, that didn't work. One more.
You have failed me for the last time.
Welcome, Slayer Nation. I hope...
If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up.
That is eating away at what you love in order for it to shine. And one man's vision is... Sometimes you don't have to make things better for them to be great again. You merely have to Okay. Hollywood continues to slow boil the culture and crazy. Well, right now, Spider-Man actor Andrew Garfield has stepped up and he's fighting motherfucker.
I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it.
And unbearded dwarves, but Prime didn't stop there. They stapled in intersectionality, individuality, biddiga-dig-bee, biddiga-dig-boo.
So it begins.
At my signal, unleash hell.
and gentlemen, George the Giant Slayer.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. You got Tom from Midnight's Edge who's joining me, but we also have Verbal Riot.
How's it going, guys?
How you doing? You know, this is a great day. It's a beautiful day.
You know, it is, man. But I right 5 minutes before your show started, I was brushing my teeth, and I don't know how I did this, but I turned and I went smack into like the door area, the doorway, and I smacked my head like really hard. And and I've a pretty hard hit, but this one was felt, and I kind of feel like a little bump there, but man, I don't know what the hell happened. It just smacked the shit out of me though.
You were so excited to get here. You're just, I gotta get going. I gotta get there.
I guess that was it, man. But yeah, so if I'm a little loopy during the show,
no worries, no worries. You know what? I don't think anything.
That was it.
I hope you're okay. I mean, are you feeling okay, or is it got?
Well, no, well, it hurt, and I put a little ice on it right before, but I should be fine. I mean, it was, you know, I've been hit harder by women, so.
The camera went down. That's a drink for everybody. Okay. Either I'm going to turn into an alcohol. Either I'm going to turn into an alcoholic, or this camera's going to get solved.
I was going to say you're going to get alcohol poisoning before the end.
Well,
of the show.
hell, George, if you're drinking, then
join me, brother. There we go. Roll it out. But I got
a little whiskey in my coffee, if you know what I mean.
There you go. There you go. Well, see, I always have 3 drinks. Got the coffee here, got the Mexican Coke ready to open, and usually
Mexican Coke is God sent, man.
It is God sent. And now I have the Greek vodka made with olives.
You know what? I got to try that. Man.
I'll send you a bottle.
You know what it tastes like? I've never heard of that.
It's brand new. It came out this year. Here it is. It's called Castra e Leon. Castra e Leon. Come on, focus.
The white bottle. Okay.
Focus. There we go. And a friend
sounds Greek or something. Yeah.
It is Greek. Yeah. You know what? It's funny. You know what it tastes like? It tastes like a dirty martini.
So it's a little salty.
A little bit salty, but you can taste the olives. But it's like, because people were asking me, what does it taste like? I'm like a dirty martini.
Actually, you know what? It makes sense. It's made from olives. So yeah. It's going to be salty. That's pretty cool.
So Greeks discovered my heritage, discovered something else to do besides sheep. Now
are Greeks the ones who drink the limoncello, or is that the
no? That's Italians? The Italians. We drink ouzo, and I love ouzo and raki from Crete.
Oh, I've had ouzo. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but you talking about like you have to try raki. It's like ouzo but smooth. There's no bite to it. Just beautiful. But my favorite Greek drink is when I was last in Greece many years ago. Was rakomelo. It was called. It's raki. Like I was just describing you, the ouzo without the bite, but they put honey in it and then they cook it for like a minute where it's warm, and it goes down beautifully. But let's see who is here. We got Olaf in the house, one of our great mods. And you know why I'm so excited, everybody? War Monkey. What a name. War Monkey. It's like you want to take him into battle. Giggity is here, good friend. Nick the Greek Yasu. Yeah, it is Greek vodka. I think it's the very first one. Why I'm excited about this week. This week, the age of men return. This is a time of real men, real women. See, it's a revolution of common sense where we kick crazy to the curb. But not only that, we have to throw out all of the woke insanity, you know, the fake virtue signalers and the fraud moralists. But see, Trump, his inauguration didn't just represent a return of a president. It buried the last 4 years of woke insanity, of weakness and anti-American garbage. I'm looking forward to it. See, I'm pumped up. I'm excited. It is the return of the age of men, the death of the media. And I love it. And Poopa Chalupa comes in hot. He agrees, gifting 5 Georgia Giant Slayer memberships. Love you. Please, everybody go thank Poopa Chula. But you know what? That also reminded me of something. I am never one to push this, but I'm proud to. 2025 is going to be the year of the Slayer. It's going to be the year of Verbal Riot. It's going to be the year of Tom from Midnight's Edge and Midnight's Edge After Dark. But one of the things I want to do is I saw Jeremy yesterday. He posted on X. I'm proud of him. Love the guy from G&G. Hail the 199. And he posted how he was #1 in super chats in the world. And you know what I thought? I'm like, I want us to be #1. I want us to be #1. So go tell everybody, bring them in here. Because the bigger that we get, the more members that we get. Not only are we going to have a lot of fun in the member stream, but you're going to get your voices out there. I'm like, that's my goal. I want us to get there to be #1. So that's where I'm going to do everything to push it. Content, surprising stuff. We're going to have amazing guests, but I want us to get there, to be Slayers. And Bob the Lobster's here, man of war, neighbor of the beast 665. You're in Northern Ireland, George. Hail to you, Lioness. Hail to you. So I think what's amazing is we'll first talk about a little bit of Hollywood, then we'll go into politics. Because it's an exciting time we're living in. Something that I saw an hour before the show, and I think everybody's going to be excited, except Verbal. I know you didn't like Nosferatu. It's okay. Well, but
you know what? Again, man, it's just one of those things where I didn't get it. That's all.
No, but it's okay. Yeah, I wasn't making a crack at you. I respect your opinions as a film critic. I do. And we can agree to disagree. That's not a problem.
Well, yeah, and trust me, I could say 100 great things about the movie. I mean, it's the movie itself was fine. The material didn't stick with me. That's all.
No, I get it.
I watched it twice since it's been on video on demand now. The original version and the extended cut.
What extended cut?
There's a 3-minute longer extended cut.
You're shitting me.
Nope.
Always. See, you're the master of physical media and everything coming to movies. Thank you for telling me that. I didn't know. I didn't see it anywhere. Are you talking it's like on Apple TV or?
Yeah, you should be able to get it there. I got it through Fandango. It'll be on the Blu-ray in 4K.
Okay.
Which is starting to go on sale now, which comes out the 18th of next month.
Well, sweet.
It's only a few minutes, but no, it was cool. I got sucked in both times, and I just love it. To me, it's like it's almost like eating at a fancy restaurant when it comes to cinemaphiles. I mean, I just eat it up, but I love the original too. So
yeah, I just haven't figured out which one I love more, the original. No, Nosferatu to me is #1. I haven't figured out between the other two whether I like Kinski's, Herzog's version, or the original between those two.
I love Herzog's version, actually. Way more so than the original. And that's because I'm just a Herzog nut. I love him.
Really?
And that's why I was kind of surprised that I wasn't more into Eggers' version.
Well,
because I do like the story. I just, for some reason, Eggers' version didn't click with me. But with that said, Eggers is a great director, man. I look forward to his Werewolf movie. Like I want to see it. So
yeah, I think the biggest problem you're having, Verbal, is that the deviation there is Kinski in the Herzog version is more of a straight up Dracula adaptation.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah, this version is more of an adaptation of the original film. But anyway, yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to Werewolf, however you say it.
Werewolf. Mary Mack will tell us what they say. Always love seeing you here, Mary. So I hope you come back and join us and let us all know what the Marvel writer's testimony is. I'm interested in that. I haven't heard of that. I'd love to know.
I'm sure it'd be 1,000 times better than
oh God, yes.
I saw Wolfman.
That's what this feels like, is a bit of a dick smack on Wolfman's forehead, right? Like,
I saw Wolfman. I will just say this. I started to review the movie. I was laying out.
You mean?
Yeah, that's a better way of putting it. I started to write my notes for it. I'm like, I can't do this. I cannot do this, only because the fact I fell asleep about 28 to 30 minutes into the movie, and I woke up in the last 15 minutes. I only did that with Eternals, and I had to watch it again because it was my second movie review for the channel. I'm like, what am I going to tell everybody? Like, I fell asleep, but so I went back.
It was worse than Eternals?
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's worse than Eternals because it was. I'll tell you what about Eternals. Zhao, the director, is an art house director, okay? And you could tell, for whatever it's worth, she put her entire heart into it. You could tell the passion. It just is the wrong director for the wrong project. Werewolf has no heart, it's like somebody said, hey, you want to make a movie? Huh? What? Oh, yeah, you got a script? oh, okay, and they just kind of like, oh, who wants a job? You want to take some time? We'll have catering. It's pretty good. There's kale smoothies. It just had there was no heart to it. It felt like there was no attempt at creating something new. The only thing different they did was the Wolfman didn't look like a Wolfman. He's bald, looks more like a zombie. American Werewolf in London, I agree, Linus. Best, still for me, the best werewolf movie ever. I go American Werewolf in London, The Howling, Silver Bullet, and Underworld. Those are my favorites.
That's solid.
And the original Wolfman, the black and white. I love that. It's got something to it. And Jack Nicholson's is on that list because Wolf, I just loved his performance. But no.
I have issues with werewolf movies where they actually turn to a full wolf, because to me it's like, dude, that's not a werewolf, that's just a fucking wolf. It's I want to see a wolf man. I want to see a half man, half wolf running around. You know what I mean?
Let's show the audience what it looked like. I mean, that would just be easier. Wolfman.
And that's why I thought Underworld was really good.
Underworld, yes, I love the transformation in Underworld. I will say, here's the Wolfman, just so we can show everybody. And you'll understand when you see this pop on the screen. Where'd you go, Dum-Dum? Come on. There we go. Here's the Wolfman. When it pops up on the screen, it's reprehensible. And they don't treat it. They treat lycanthropy like a medical disease, like you caught herpes. It's very weird.
You know what? I don't think I've seen the actual. Wait, what?
Yeah. Does that look like a Wolfman in any way?
That looks like a fucking gnome. What is that?
No.
Like, wait, what?
Woof, woof. Yeah, it does. It just doesn't look real.
That's the Wolfman from the movie.
Yep.
Are you suffering from lycanthropy?
Do you have an
wolf
itch?
away?
An itch that needs scratching?
That looks like a dirty hobo who.
That's what I said, Florida man. Yeah.
Tom is right. There used to be this guy who in our neighborhood, about 4 or 5 blocks down the street from where I grew up, where my friends and I, we had this Jack in the Box 5 blocks away. And we'd go there after school. They used to have the tacos. It was like 4 for $1 or something. And there was this guy there who wore this long trench coat, dirty, ruggedy, beat up, long, scraggly beard, greasy, like he hadn't bathed in a year. And he always had a bottle of Ripple or Strawberry Hill, and we used to call him the Guitar Man. He was a really nice guy. And we'd get him tacos or we'd get him something to eat. Of course, he's like, "You got any money?" I'm like, "We'll feed you. I'm not going to help you with the booze." But at first, we used to think he must be a Highlander because he had that really long trench coat. But it looks like this if you shaved his head. Anyway, so I'm excited for Robert Eggers. Wolfman. Werewolf. Because the only thing I'm a little anxious about is after this, he's doing Labyrinth, and he's doing it with again.
Is
with
he though?
Yeah, that's what World of Real had reported in cinema.
Well, I was wondering if that wasn't. Well, yeah, that's just it. I wonder if that wasn't just people fan casting him as a director for this project that's been sitting in limbo for a long time.
I just
because
can't
this
see
sounds
anyone.
like it's greenlit and ready to go. So we'll see on the Labyrinth thing, but yeah.
Because I can't see a William Dafoe slipping into the spot of David Bowie. I mean, he has that goblin-esque kind of crazy mania to him, but you need that elegance.
That movie doesn't work without Bowie. It doesn't, man. I look, I don't care who was directing it. I don't care if it was like, my favorite director in Hollywood. I don't think that Labyrinth was a movie for its time and place. I don't think it could be done again.
Yeah, I don't. I agree with you 100%. And we got Graf Webb, the most patient, passionate, committed person on the internet. For $2, Sacred Timeline restored. Cancel Disney Plus. Amen, brother.
Yeah, and I just looked it up here. Yeah, that Labyrinth thing comes from Jeff Schneider.
Okay.
So it was just a rumor.
So
yeah,
you think World of Real is just reporting on the rumor then?
Oh yeah, they were just reporting off of Jeff Schneider's report. Because this is actual announcement. This is greenlit, ready to go. They got the script written, all that
Okay.
kind of stuff. Yeah.
I'm glad of that because again, he has Defoe in every one of his films, but I just can't see him as Bowie.
I think Labyrinth is one of those movies that I think everybody thinks they want a reboot, but they don't. They don't understand that it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
No matter who.
They
does
actually did a quasi sequel to it years ago, and it just crashed and burned. I can't remember the name of it, but it like
seriously.
Wait, are you sure?
Yeah, it was. The story is based on a sequel to Labyrinth, but the movie itself is only tangentially connected to it or something like that. It's a real kind of out there concept of a movie. I can't remember the name of it. Somebody in the chat might remember. I think it barely went straight to video.
Wow.
God, it was poor looking, and there's a few videos out there about it. So it's not like it's unknown, but I'm trying to remember the name of it.
But it wasn't like, it was just basically kind of like under the radar.
Very under the radar.
Straight
Exactly,
to DVD, straight to
yeah, I don't
Blu-ray.
even think it got a theatrical release or anything like that. And I don't even think they advertised it as a sequel to Labyrinth.
Oh.
Yeah, because I'm like, wait, what?
Mirror Mask, that might be it. Toxic Waltz, that might be what you're talking about. I can't remember now. But yeah, it was like based on an actual sequel to Labyrinth, but they ended up making it as kind of its own thing. It was really weird.
Oh, that movie. Yeah, okay. I remember this.
Okay, I'll put a question out. Did the Dark Crystal need another one?
No,
not really.
Okay, there we go. We that's why I love you guys.
Although that series, I haven't seen it, but that series reportedly was pretty good.
Actually, yeah, the series was fine. It was gorgeous, actually. And you know what? And it was fine. I just don't think. I think they could just let it go now, though. They don't have to do any more Dark Crystals.
Okay, I haven't seen it because I've been worried. I've been worried to watch it to ruin the original for me.
The series won't ruin the original.
It won't. Okay, that's good then.
I mean, of all the things that Henson did that aren't attached to somebody who was like a person or anything like that, to where you could probably sequelize, that's the only thing probably. Because yeah, like Verbal said, Labyrinth is David Bowie.
Yeah,
I mean that's what makes it work. Dark Crystal, yeah, you could probably get away with that, and I could see why the series of that would work compared to that. Like you just can't without David Bowie. It's not the same thing.
It's like years ago, I heard there was supposed to be another Legend film, but a prequel.
Yeah, Ridley Scott was talking about that, but that's just because Ridley Scott, I think, was talking about it or something.
Because I was like, how are you going to do the prequel without the man himself? I mean, not Tom Cruise. And his name just
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry. You can. I saw an interview with him a few years ago where he's very ill.
You know, I feel like it's one of those be careful what you wish for things, right? I think, honestly, man, like when I think about the original Star Wars, yeah, we all kind of wanted a prequel. We wanted, we wanted to have some story, but I think if they would have just left it as the Star Wars, trilogy and let our imaginations figure out the rest of what happened before and what happened after, I think we'd have been fine, right? I think we all got, a reality check when we got these prequels because it's like, look, even if there's a lot of retconning going on, okay, when it comes to the Star Wars prequels. All of a sudden, everyone loves them, right? But when they came out, people didn't love the prequels, man. Or at least my generation didn't like the prequels. So, and I'm holding to that. I still think the prequels were subpar.
I enjoyed the prequels. I know that's contrary to everybody. I just didn't like Jar Jar. I hated Jar Jar. I just couldn't stand him, and I didn't like the overuse of I know what Lucas was trying to do. I didn't like the CGI. I loved Revenge of the Sith, and I liked a part of Attack of the Clones. The first,
for me, I just felt like I didn't like the story leading up to Revenge of the Sith. I felt like we never needed Anakin as a kid.
That's the part that I didn't like. I didn't like
stuff like that, which it kind of took away from everything, man.
Well, the problem was at that point we had spent the last 20 years, all of us having our own version of what had happened.
Good point. In our head. There you go. You know what I wanted? We're talking pre-internet, but after Return of the Jedi, I really don't know. We're going to have to one day break down how this worked in our lives when we were in school, when we were younger. But it's the same way with Richard Gere, how it would go around the world about him and the hamster, his best buddy.
Gerbil.
Right? The gerbil. Yeah, nobody had internet, but somehow you could have a kid in LA high school. He would know the same gerbil story as in Alabama, as in Dallas, Texas, or Houston.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, think about it. It's
summer
like
camp. Don't underestimate the power of summer camp.
It must have been. But the same rumors would come out that after Return of the Jedi, You know how Lucas had mapped out 12 films, and we're going to see
a bunch of
Luke.
baloney.
We're going to see Luke as the Master Jedi, and he's taking on the cleaning up the galaxy, and the Emperor comes. I mean, this whole thing, and then the whole war and how it started. I mean, that was the rumor. It was 12. He laid out 12 with this Master series, but
yeah, because I even heard rumors that the Clone Wars was kind of like a battle between before the movies came out. It was supposed to be a battle between the Jedis and the Mandalorians, and it was supposed to be this big thing. And I just feel like we all got disappointed, man. Like it's almost better that they never did them at all and just let our imaginations kind of take the wheel there. But
and then the Harry Beaver showed up and gave us the sequels.
Yeah. So now I'm kind of pro, or anti. I'm anti prequel of anything now.
Well, I'm anti sequel, prequel, revival, any of that kind of stuff, because I agree with you, Verbal. Outside of the rare few Cobra Kais or whatever we can poke to,
Aliens.
Even those, even the last few Alien films have sucked ass.
Aliens. I'm talking about
no. I'm talking about revival movies, though, within the last few years. Because my point was, after seeing Beetlejuice, I know a lot of people enjoyed it, but I'm like, go, and you know where it probably come from. I'm like, go back and watch that movie again. It is not a very good movie, and was it really worth 30 years of waiting and sullying the original film? Like, how many movies do we have left from the 80s that don't have a part 2 or 3, let alone are getting talks about a revival sequel? And every time a Beetlejuice does well, that's why we keep hearing about Goonies and Gremlins, because it's like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see the sad, depressing revival they come up with. Not everything's Cobra Kai. Right. Not everything's meant to have this, revival thing where you can go back into it and check it out, because
Could
honestly,
you imagine
it's
how
just
bad?
depressing.
Could you imagine how bad a prequel or a sequel would be right now to the movie E.T.?
Oh God, Spielberg would never let it happen. But yeah, they've been trying to make him do that for years.
But
it would be garbage. It would be a piece of shit if they tried to make a sequel or prequel to E.T. right now.
Is there no small part of you, that the child that's still in there? We all have that little bit of that.
Sure,
kid.
I have. Of course, dude,
There's no part of you that wants to explore your favorite universes more, just a little.
Sometimes, yes, but then again, you see the shit like The Flash, and you see how depressing Michael Keaton looks as Batman, right? Or look at what they did to Luke Skywalker, and even if it was a decent film, he'd still look that way.
Right.
I'm not trying to be rude to Mark Hamill, but dude is not looking the best for his age at this point. I mean, it's just some of this stuff is just kind of sad and depressing, and you just don't want to see it. And the other half is you're dealing with people that are either dead or blacklisted, and that was a problem with Beetlejuice on both fronts.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the same thing with Goonies and Gremlins and any other revival sequel. Even the Ghostbusters, we got one good one out of there. I got to even admit, Frozen Empire was a big, huge step back from the last movie, but I think people were concentrating on the wrong problems.
I loved Afterlife. Actually.
Yeah, Afterlife I thought was amazing, and if anything, that's where they should have just left it.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I liked Afterlife. I just didn't like the girl. I didn't like her acting, but I liked Afterlife. I like Afterlife.
But see, I liked Afterlife more, I think, because the girl had a lesser part, or she wasn't I don't know. She was terrible in the set. And
something annoyed me about her. I just can't put my finger on it.
Frozen Empire felt like there was just way too much shit going on. The first movie had a nice balance of the past meets the now, right? To where it was a little more concentrated, smaller story. Frozen Empire, much like Ghostbusters 2, just felt like you're trying to cram way too many ideas in this and make it too family friendly when that's not what this should be.
And also, pro LGBTQ and all this other stuff they were trying to throw in there. It was like
a ghost.
I don't even know about that part, but my issue is more so, like I said, with the cobbled ending, because the ending, like I said, you watch the trailers for that movie, and it feels like the third act of the movie was mostly on the cutting room floor. And I think part of the stuff of what got left on the cutting room floor, people wouldn't have been crying lesbian ghosts so much too if they'd have seen it. I feel like there's a whole section in there where Phoebe's obviously more obsessed with what it's like to be a ghost than anything else. That's where her obsession comes in.
Then they screwed up by editing, because the way they was, it looked like it was about her trying to be with this girl forever.
Well, because it's kind of set up in an earlier scene if you pay attention, because she asks what's his face, the Egon looking new guy at the facility. he asks her about that machine. She's like, have you ever tried anything on anything living? So, and then when she talks to that girl, she says, I know for a fact that something living can go and come back. So that means at some point in the movie that we didn't see, she tested it on something living to find out if this could work or not, because she says it with, and you know how her character is. She wouldn't say that if she didn't know for a fact that she could do this. So she knows she can do it. So that part right there, I'm like, you're missing something there. And not only that, when the black chick gets frozen, I can't remember her name again, but she's the waitress chick from the first movie. She shouldn't even be in this movie. When she gets frozen, there's a whole bunch there that I think is missing, because you jump from her being completely frozen to it jumps to something else to back to them, and she's got a big orange blanket over her, and Phoebe's like just finishing like warming her up. So I think there must have been a whole section there where Phoebe realizes, if I don't thaw her out, she's gonna die.
Yeah.
Because everybody else around them has died, and they didn't explain how the hell you managed to bring her back from being frozen and save her. So there's a whole section there missing too. So like there's like this, and there's stuff in the trailer that shows that. So I'm like, there's little bits and pieces here and there that are missing. I think there's even that big grand shot of them on top of the building that's not completely there either. So there's like, the whole movie was a mess. And I'm like, everybody's concentrating on one thing. It's like, there's a lot more problems with this.
Yeah, I agree.
So they screwed up with the editing.
I agree. Nick the Greek sends in $2 for my fellow Greek. Keep up the good work. Yes, Lavendi. And this is to make up for the last two cameras. And then we got Shotgun Fringe for $2. There's a manga sequel to Labyrinth already. Oh, I didn't know that. I'm going to check that out. I'd love to see that. So let's see what...
I looked it up, and yeah, Mirror Mask appears to be the movie that I was thinking of.
Cool. Let's see when Edgar's Werewolf is coming out. It says the company has dated the thriller for a North America release on Christmas Day 2026. Did they say who's in it?
How did Nosferatu do in the box office? Like overall,
I think it was 100.
They stunted it. It did 170, I think, or as close to it. And if they wouldn't have dumped it on streaming already, I think it could have managed to pull off 200 million.
Yeah, I guarantee you it would have. It would have. That was the.
I don't know why they do this, man. Like
ridiculous.
I don't.
Tom and I have talked about it for hours. I cannot understand.
The short version is this is Universal's stupidity. Why they don't have some kind of fail safe to where, like, if a movie makes X amount more percentage than its budget, or getting to that point that they should just leave it in theaters that much longer. But Universal and Focus Features being under Universal, they have this set date, no matter what, that at this certain point it hits streaming.
Yeah. So we got
they have no exceptions whatsoever.
It's ridiculous. It's almost at 160 million.
Twister was another example of this where they pulled it early.
Much
to Warner Brothers' chagrin, I'm sure.
Man.
What'd you say?
No,
I
don't get the logic behind
I'm sorry.
One more time. I didn't hear you verbal.
No, I don't get the logic behind it. Like I don't
either. But that's why I said Tom and I have debated this. Like, what could it possibly be? We were going through every one of the possibilities, and Tom, the closest he came to is
I think they make more money on the video on demand.
Do. Yeah, I even said maybe is there something shady going on, because it doesn't make sense that there is not, and that's obviously
it's not even so much shady. Just think about it. If you have a movie in theaters, you're paying 10, 11, 12, 15 bucks a ticket. The theater gets to keep half of that right off the bat. If you're doing it streaming, even if the streaming company keeps, and I don't think they keep this much, I think they only get like $2.53 bucks per thing.
Right. But
even if they get 10, the studio's still bringing home 20 bucks each. Right.
But that's why I said they should have left it in the theater. This thing, I think, with another 3 weeks, could have hit 200 million.
But they're seeing it as it's worth more now because they'll sell more video on demand because it's a brand new movie.
And you can make $1 million on video on demand.
They must be able to. They must. That's the only thing that makes any sense to me, because otherwise, I mean, and they've gotten to the point where it's got to be diminishing results anyway, because you're basically uprooting your film's potential, because you hit a certain point, and like Verbal's getting at, and I'm sure we talked about before, is you get a certain point. If you haven't seen it the first or second weekend, you're just like, I'll just wait. It'll be on streaming in a week or two.
That's the bad thing about streaming. That's the bad thing about streaming. That is, they should have stuck to the old schedule. Maybe cut it in half. Instead of 6 months before a Blu-ray or DVD came out, make it 3 months so they can keep people coming into the theater. But on that news, I can tell you who else is going to be sad pretty soon. Is there reports coming in about Captain America? The reverse albino. Brave New World. Ticket sales on par with Eternals. Look at this. Cosmic Book News has a picture of the seatings from a tweet. Captain America Brave New World ticket sales for Thursday preview at RPX Theater, 7:40 p.m. Look at all those seats still available. How big of a disaster do you think this is going to be, Dante? Dante?
Oh, he's
he
frozen,
freeze?
I think he's frozen.
What do you,
He
how
looks
big?
frozen.
Yeah, how big do you think it is?
I actually just helped write a video about this Captain America bold new strategy. Is that what we're talking about here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to do too well.
Right, it isn't. But if we take all the rumors together and all the reports that pre-marketing, it's almost 500 million, 450 to 500 million. Does that mean with marketing, it's around 700 million? So they need to bring in 1.4 billion to break even? Am I correct?
Yeah, this thing's already a tax write-off probably, or some sort of write-off.
But how do they avoid the embarrassment and the humiliation?
They can't.
Okay. So you think
From
it's
what
going
we've
to
been
be
hearing, they're just kind of keeping their heads down, knowing this is going to fail.
Okay, so Tom, I'll ask you this then. Will they pull what Focus Features did, like 2 weeks and then yank it?
In these cases, yeah, that's the one thing with Universal. You can't really, you can't like be a barometer, but though this, yeah, because I think, what was the last Marvel one? The
Eternal,
the Ant-Man one, or no, the Ant-Man one or whatever, because that one went to streaming pretty quick too.
16, 18 days, something like that.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get a similar thing here, like what you're saying. Because if this movie fails at launch, because let's be real, this thing is, they're already predicting it's going to open at less than $100 million. And I've seen nowhere where they have signified whether that's worldwide or just in the US. Because my prediction is this thing is going to open in the same vicinity as the Marvels. Because there's zero interest for this damn thing.
What's up, Verbal? You okay?
Yeah, my Wi-Fi just flickered out for a minute for some reason.
Oh, are you going to join me for
Captain
a drink?
America.
Oh, now
Yeah, I guess so. So here we go.
Wait a minute. I'm pulling up the shot and then my camera goes out. I got to take a double then. What the hell? I'm going to be...
Y'all are going to be drunk.
Yes, because yes.
I'd be drunk whether there's drinking for the show or not. So...
Hold on. Now my camera won't come back on.
Yeah,
damn
your
it.
camera won't come back on, period.
But hold
I just
on,
don't
one
be on
minute.
because who wants to look at this? I mean,
Oh, no, you should be on. You're great. Hold on.
I do
Hold
got a
on.
good shirt on today. I got my Critters 2 shirt on.
Nice.
Video ad.
Let me see if I can fix this. Let me see if I can fix
But
this.
we were asking you, Verbal, as you pieced out there, what you thought the how well you thought Captain America 4 was going to do.
Okay, so here's my drink, Verbal.
Cool. Well, look, as much as we joke around, man, about how bad it's going to do, I think it's a mixed bag, right? Because it's a Captain America movie that's going to have the Red Hulk in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first Marvel movie of the year. There's no competition for it at all next month. So, or whenever they pushed it back to, I don't think there's going to be any competition for it. So, at best,
right,
it might. Nah, you know what? Nah, it's going to
can't break even. It can't break even.
Lose money. Like it's not even going to break even. Like it's. You know what? If they didn't do 1,000 reshoots, and if it didn't cost like $500 million, I say it might do okay. There's just no way. There's no way that they can make up what they've already spent.
Okay, so that's what I was asking Tom. If we're talking about a $450 to $500 million budget, pre-marketing, another what, 150 to 200 million? Let's say 700 million total with marketing. That means 1.4 billion to break even. That hasn't happened since Infinity War and Endgame days.
Look, best case scenario, if it was 500 million to make, let's just say if it was only 500 million to make, it still wouldn't make his money back.
Yeah.
I don't think it has the legs. I don't think it has the interest. And I think Disney has lost a lot of goodwill, or the MCU, I should say, has lost a lot of goodwill. And people know it'll be on Disney Plus by the following month.
Right.
So it's not going to do well. And
I think Disney's shot for gaining any sort of credibility, I always have a difficulty with that word, is going to be Daredevil Born Again and then Fantastic Four.
Honestly, Daredevil's going to save them. It's not even going to be Fantastic Four. Daredevil is probably going to save them as far as getting people back on board. Right?
I love Daredevil. I love Daredevil.
Just getting people back on board.
Right.
That's going to be Daredevil.
I love the Daredevil from Netflix. If they do that, if the trailer is that, like the whole series is exactly like the trailer, that's a winner. Everybody's going to be praising it to high heaven. And we're going to forget about Echo, you know, the one-legged Indian. And we're going to forget about Marvels. And
see, that's the problem, man. Like Disney has done so much damage to their own brand. I mean, they but they basically like diluted the waters, right? And so now you can't even think about Daredevil now without thinking about Echo or thinking about She-Hulk, right? It's like,
or Agatha all along and her ass in the first episode.
That's what I'm saying. Like they've done a lot of damage, a lot of brand damage. So I still think Daredevil has enough legs to bring people on board, but
I still am waiting to see how they're going to explain how D'Onofrio's Kingpin no longer has that milky eye with the scar that happened in Echo, where he was. It's like you see it in the trailer and it's non-existent. It's just gone.
Honestly, man, it might be a multiverse thing. To be honest with you, like I don't know. Like I don't know how they're going to explain away all the bullshit that's happened.
Yeah, makes sense. And then there was some other news talking about Daredevil, talking about John Bernthal. Guess who hired him today, or at least it was reported today. John Bernthal, the Punisher himself, is now joined Christopher Nolan's Odyssey movie.
Nice. Good for him.
I'm excited. I think Bernthal has a lot of raw anger and presence. I mean, that's really what he does. From Walking Dead to the Punisher, he just has that intensity to him. You know, like he's ready.
He's a good actor, man. He is. I'll watch anything he's in.
So let's see if they say what he's playing. Because I would think, I mean, I still don't know who's going to play Odysseus. Christopher Nolan adaptation of The Odyssey is adding to its already stellar cast, as sources tell Deadline. Emmy winner John Bernthal is boarding the film. He joins a cast that already includes Matt Damon, Tom Holland. God, Tom Holland, I can only see him as Odysseus' son, nothing else. And
Wolf of Wall Street, Bernthal. People forget he was in that.
Oh, yeah, right. I did forget. He was DiCaprio's friend.
Yeah.
That's right. It was really good.
The one Jonah Hill got in trouble.
Yeah. Fucking little shit.
Zendaya.
You little fucking fat fuck.
I don't know why Hollywood keeps pushing Zendaya on us. She's a model, not an actress. Put her in catalogs. Put her in catalogs. She doesn't have any presence, any of that gravitas, anything to draw you in. But a model, great. I have no problem with
I'll be honest, man. I don't get it. You know, I watched that movie Challengers with her in it, and I just didn't buy anything she was doing, man. I didn't buy any scene she was in. She was supposed to be in this throuple or this threesome with these two guys, and you know, she looks like a little girl, man. Like they needed to cast like a real woman to play this part, because she was also supposed to be a mom, mom of a young girl, and I'm like, Zendaya does not present as a woman to me.
No,
you know, she presents as a little girl to me, or a teenager at best.
I agree with that. And it's her and Tom Holland are an item. It seems that they keep trying to put them together in films.
They might be engaged, from what I heard.
Like, who do you think out of this entire cast who could be Odysseus? I don't see one of them so far. Like, I don't know if Nolan's keeping that a secret. I don't see Matt Damon as Odysseus.
He might be holding that close to the chest, because I don't see it either.
Robert Pattinson? No way.
Well, I'm going to keep my mouth shut because I already got in trouble for calling Nolan overrated this morning.
Oh, you don't like Nolan?
I do, but I think he's very overrated and very pretentious.
Well, okay.
Every other movie of his is good. It's just like you look at shit like Tenet and you're like, yeah, this is a glowing example of why these kind of guys, they get too much money, too much power, and they get so full of themselves. But yeah, he can pull out, you know, an Inception once in a while. And like Interstellar to me was a great film up until the end. I fucking hate the ending, right? Like, you know what I mean?
The ending is a little rough.
Okay.
Wait. You guys don't like the happy ending?
It's just weird. It's stupid. It's just the whole like trans-dimensional. It was just,
okay, what about Insomnia? Memento?
That's when he's younger, better. Like, it just feels like, you know, and Dark Knight Rises was another one where I felt like, yeah, dude should have just said no.
Okay, Prestige, I think is one of his best.
That's one I have to check out yet. I do have it, but I just haven't watched it yet.
Okay, Tom, check out Prestige. You're going to be blown away. Michael Caine, Hugh Jackman.
I'm not saying he's a bad
No, I got
filmmaker.
you.
And I wouldn't
hate
even put
Tenet.
him on the pretentious level of like Ridley Scott, but I just got myself in trouble this morning by saying
No. Dunkirk. Did you check out Dunkirk?
I do like Dunkirk all right, but I haven't I don't have the desire to go back and watch it. Like the
It's
only
not a
movie of
film
his
to
that
rewatch.
the only movie of his that I liked and rewatched again was Inception. I tried watching Oppenheimer. I got about 20 minutes into it and I'm like, yeah, this just it isn't sucking me in the same way it did the first time. I don't know.
Tenet sucks for me. I didn't like Tenet.
I couldn't get through that.
You needed like to be able to lay out, have multiple have multiple poster boards on your wall to write. Okay, to graph everything out. This person is here. This person is here. Where's the plot? No, it was horrible.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that one. I love Inception though. Inception might be one of my favorite Nolan films.
You know
but
what?
Then again, Inception, he's accused of ripping so much of it off. So yeah.
You know who's supposed to have helped write Inception is the actress. Oh God, I always forget her name too. The one who played the one who
Elliot.
The one who played Ra's al Ghul's daughter in Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
She co-wrote, if I'm correct, Inception. She co-wrote Inception. Yeah. Let's look it up. I'm almost.
All I know is that people are accusing it of ripping off both an anime and Uncle Scrooge comic or something like that.
True, but here's the thing though, man. I feel like everybody kind of rips off. I mean, look, Tarantino is one of my favorite directors, right?
Tarantino, come on, how can you not love Tarantino?
I'm not going to rip into that. No, you're totally right, Verbal. So
I can't think of a Tarantino film that I haven't liked. I guess the worst one for me would be Hateful Eight. I mean, that like
really?
if I had to, no, if worst meaning like
what
that would
Death
be my.
Proof?
Yeah, Death.
I never watched Death Proof.
Okay, like it's not horrible, but it's not.
No, but it's the least of his films. Exactly. Yeah.
I'm trying to find the co-writer because she's supposed to be the co-writer.
It should have been a little bit more of a exploitation film than it was.
Maybe. Yeah. The audience is kind of popping in Death Proof. Yeah.
I never watched it because it didn't look like my kind of film, and I love Kurt Russell.
I'll always stick up for Hateful
because at some point it got to be a little bit too Tarantino, right? Where these four girls are having a discussion about like Vanishing Point, which only a few people I know have seen the movie, me included. But it felt very like it was like Tarantino doing Tarantino.
And that whole Grindhouse thing was a bit of a. It's one of those things where I say where you're shooting for the moon and you hit Mars, right? Like you tried to do something. It was really kind of cool and intuitive, but the audience just didn't get it. And it's kind of the same thing I was saying about that Robbie Williams movie that just come out too, because a lot of people have been dumping on me for dumping on that. It's like, look, I ain't talking about the quality of the movie.
Right.
I'm talking about the idea. And then not only that, how do you fucking market this shit? Right? Like that's the two problems.
Which is crazy though, because everyone I know who's seen it said it was a good movie.
Right. And I'm not talking about that part.
Right.
And we talked about it this morning. Like I haven't seen it. But I could see from a marketing standpoint or even a budgetary standpoint, because that's the problem with the film, right? Is that it costs $100 million to make. That's because they decided he's going to make himself an ape through the entire movie and have Weta Digital do the special effects. Well, there's $60-70 million of your budget right there. Now, if you had done it in a different way, like Andre and I discussed this morning, we're like, all you had to do is like, because the whole idea of that is he feels like he's never been fully evolved or whatever. So he's trying to play it off like that. That's the whole gimmick with that, is you do it in just subtlety. To where you just do it like once in a while. If he sees himself in a mirror, he sees himself as an ape. And then at the grand finale, you have him bust out as the ape. And then the audience might get it better. And you've only spent $3, $4, $5 million on the digital effects instead of, 50, 60 million. That makes a big difference. Then the movie only costs like 20, 30 million. Yeah.
Because even Pharrell Williams, who did his biopic, he did All in Legos, right? And that was one of my favorite movies of last year. Piece by Piece it's called, and
I haven't seen it.
It's a biopic about this hip hop producer rapper, and it was all done in Legos, and it was one of the best films I watched last year.
Well, I'm gonna go check it out then tonight. What's it called? Piece by Piece.
Piece by Piece, yeah.
Cool,
Pharrell
I'll
Williams.
check it out.
And I think even that was probably cheaper than what the Robbie Williams movie was. So.
Robbie Williams. Wow. Eric K, the king of the mods, joins us and he sends in $5. And Dia's acting is as flat as her body. Wow.
That's
body of a young boy, just what Diddy loving Hollywood loves. When you cannot cast a young boy, you cast her. God, I love Eric K. Thank you, Eric K, king of the mods. Now,
Well, it's funny watching Zendaya in her in that show. What show is that she has? Euphoria.
Oh no, I watched
because all these hot girls, right, including Sydney Sweeney, are buck naked the whole time, right, in that show, except for Zendaya. And what's funny is no one complains about it because no one wants to see Zendaya naked.
Hell no, I want to watch Sydney
So no one cares. They're like, okay.
By the way, since we're talking about Euphoria, did you see Sydney Sweeney, how she flexed the other day? Because she's been getting shit about gaining weight, which she's she's putting on muscle for her new role to play the
these basement dwellers that are calling her mid. Guys, no, I live in LA. I live amongst like some of the most beautiful women in the world. Okay, Sydney Sweeney belongs in that flock. Okay.
Oh yeah.
She belongs in that flock. She's not mid.
I agree.
I agree. Look, everyone has their own taste. Everyone has their own taste, and maybe she's not your cup of tea, whatever. You can say that, but don't call her mid because she is far from that.
No, she didn't. But it was a term that they used. It was called, she gives her, I don't think it's called fish. It's called fish take, fish lip, fish response. It's like she was slapping back at those who are saying how she's gained weight. And it was a certain term that I've never heard before. Hold on, to shut down people. It was on, it was for all what she called the body shaming trolls. And there was a certain verbiage that they used. It was, here is my response to these.
Having seen her in person, I can tell you right now, she is not mid.
Here it is. Here she is. This is what she did when they all basically started to try to shame her. You gotta love Sydney Sweeney. She's like, okay, you want to body shame me? Here you go. Because she's putting on, oh damn it, stupid. She's putting on weight and muscle for her new role as
she's playing a boxer in her new movie, and she's
she looks good. A little bit. She looked pretty damn good to me.
And look, like I said, people have their own taste. I'm not saying you shouldn't have your own taste, or maybe she's not your cup of tea, but believe me when I say she's not mid. Okay, you may not like her. You might be into Asian women, you might be into black women. I don't know.
I love curves. How can you not like curves? Rubenesque, you get a little meat there, rounded. I don't want to get splinters every time I, cuddle up.
Yeah, no, she's a real woman.
Oh yeah. Now the story that I've been wanting to talk to y'all before we move on to politics. The new blasphemy in Hollywood is not the use of artificial intelligence, AI. It's admitting that you're using AI, which is what award-winning screenwriter and director Paul Schrader has done. I'm stunned, the 70-year-old Schrader wrote on his popular Facebook page. I just asked ChatGPT for an idea for Paul Schrader film, then Paul Thomas Anderson, then Quentin Tarantino, then Harmony Korine, then Ingmar Bergman, then Rossellini, Lang, Scorsese, Murnau, Capra, Ford, Spielberg, Lynch. What was it that stunned him? This. Every idea ChatGPT came up with in a few seconds was good and original and fleshed out. Schrader added that he dropped an old script of his into ChatGPT and asked for improvements. He claims that in 5 seconds it responded with notes as good or better than I've ever received from a film executive. AI is smarter than I am, he confessed. It has better ideas, has more efficient ways to execute them. This is an existential moment akin to what Kasparov felt in 97 when he realized Deep Blue was going to beat him at chess. Then came the blasphemy. Why should writers sit around for months searching for a good idea when AI can provide one in seconds? The response and the comments are uniformly negative. A short sample. Are you fucking serious with this ridiculous question? H, has AI hacked your page? Pops, it's called creative expression and doing the work you're passionate about, using your heart, soul, and mind. Otherwise, what you're proposing is lazy and boring. You would be a typist, not a writer. So let the debate begin. What do you think? Schrader's using it now.
Like, it's like I told you before, man. He's not the only one. This is like the dumbest secret in Hollywood, man. That most writers now use AI to at least format ideas, right? I mean, especially if you're like a writer, like on a in the writer's room, you know, and you're working on a show and you need an idea. A lot of these guys have been using AI already. So this isn't anything new, right? Like that whole dumbass strike, you know, where they're all talking about AI and, you know, we don't want it. It's like, guys, quit lying. You've all been using it. Okay. Like I said, AI won't write a complete script. It won't even write half a script. It's not used for that because sure, you probably could, and it's going to be very bad. It's going to be a very bad script. But most writers will not write a full script with AI because you can't. But they are getting ideas from AI, and at least he's being honest about it.
Well,
He is, but he's getting roasted.
Because the people roasting him are full of shit.
Right, but are they the ones, because you're saying, are they the ones using it and then are refusing to state that fact?
Well, I'm not saying they're using it, but they know that industry-wide people are using it. Like, they know that.
Well, look at his comments. This was what he put on his Facebook page. I finally found it. Jesus, Paul, stop promoting that shit. AI will be our downfall. In order for this to even happen, there first has to be a Paul Schrader, a Paul Thomas Anderson, a Quentin Tarantino, etc. Chat GPT can't give you prompts if these writers didn't put their work out there first. This way of thinking stunts future writers from having voices themselves, doing the work to find their voice. Sure, this can give us somewhat compelling versions of these works, but we won't get any new voices to emerge because AI won't even know them.
That is actually correct, what Christian is saying there, because that's the problem with AI. And we use the term a little too loosely.
Okay.
Because Chat GPT and all these other things are actually more like simulated intelligence.
Yeah, it's not real AI.
And he's not wrong. And this is kind of where like Paul, like he's basically like, he's an old man who's discovering new technology and he hasn't quite hit the limitations of it yet. And that's where I think some of the issues are coming in. Like, I mean, Verbal's right. If there's writers and other people that are clearly using AI that are coming after him, well, then fuck them. But as far as the audience is concerned,
right,
like they're not wrong in that respect, because yes, if it wasn't for guys like Paul Schrader and Quentin Tarantino, Chat GPT would be writing like somebody else, because that's all it can do, is it can just only mimic and find things out there. And I actually tested it, and I think it was on Chat GPT I did this on. You can actually go back like a year or two ago on Mead and find the episode if somebody does. Please point it out to me because I can't remember which one it is. But I actually used Chat GPT. I'm like, I'm going to run a little experiment. And I would feed it the first act of a film, the characters, the events, the things that would happen in the first act of a movie, a couple different movies that already exist, and just see where it would go.
Right.
And 9.9 times out of 10, it would still take me to the same logical place every time that the movie would end up going. And then I realized after about 3 or 4 in that it actually added characters in that I did not introduce that are in the movie. So I'm like, okay, this thing must be pulling from the internet someplace.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in that respect, so it's already doing that. And then the only one that it came up with that was remotely interesting and new was it took Nightmare on Elm Street, but it turned it into Rumpelstiltskin. Yeah, that was really all it did. So it was like, basically what I'm getting at here is that it can't really create anything new. All it can really do is remix the past and what's out there, or what it's fed, or what it has at its, access to, or whatever. So in that respect, Paul is misinterpreting what looks like and is being mimicked as good, clever writing, but it's just really remixing somebody else's work at the end of the day. And we're not wrong when Tarantino, that's kind of what he does, but he also has his own voice that he adds to it.
Correct.
Right. He's not remaking all these old movies. He's taking all these things that used to be in old movies and pulp magazines and other things like that, and he's mixing them up into a movie and giving you something completely new and different out of that than what you had ever had before. Like, that's where Pulp Fiction comes in, is like everything in that movie is pretty much something we've seen before, but it's presented to you in a way that you've never seen it before. And I compared what Tarantino does to like what the original earlier rap artists were doing, especially the DJs, when they were mixing 2, 3, 4 songs together to where you couldn't even tell half the time where that drum beat came from, or that horn section came from, or that guitar lick came from, until Puff Daddy came along, right? Because then he just started looping the same thing over and over again. But back then, that was kind of what Tarantino was doing. He was taking all this old stuff and mixing it up in a new way that you didn't even know could be done, and you couldn't even really recognize it as for what it was, because it was presented to you in such a fresh, different way. But you'll never get that again. And sadly, the other problem is a lot of these writers are in a stagnation that is almost like they're like AI, because they don't know how to really create anything new. All they know is these older properties that they've seen before or whatever, and those kind of stories, and they don't really know how to bring anything new to the table.
Okay.
Right? Instead of saying, well, I have this idea that's kind of like this, and in the vein of this, they're just going, well, why can't we just do already said IP? Because then they know it's safe, and then they can just do that instead. And that's kind of where AI is in the same vein, is it's not really bringing anything new or original to the table. It's just recycling old things that are already out on the internet or already done.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. What do you think about it, Verbal? You basically said that they all use it and they're just not admitting it. So they're basically lashing out at him because he's.
But in a way that I think they're lashing out at him because he said it out loud.
Gotcha.
Right. I'm not saying they all use it, because they don't. But what I'm saying is a good majority of them do, though, as far as coming up with ideas and, like I said, even format stuff, things like that. But overall, the word will out, right? I mean, the best writers are going to get their stuff made. Well, the best writers who kiss the right ass, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like those are the people who will get their stuff made. It's not going to be some asshole who's sitting behind his computer and tells ChatGPT to, come up with a script for me, because that's not going to happen. And if it does happen, it's going to be the worst thing. It's not even going to be
good
readable.
Well,
if ChatGPT writes a full 120-page script, there's no way that's going to happen.
Well, there are a lot of people who say that AI is allowing the democratization of ideas. It allows everyone access. Someone goes, well, I have this great idea, but I don't know how to write a script. Or I have this great idea, but I don't know how to write a book. I have this great idea, but I need some help on something.
But like Tom said, though, this isn't real AI here, man. We're not asking a computer to think for itself and create a story. Because that's not what's happening. So there is really no true AI. What this is the tool that does help generate ideas.
Correct.
That's kind of it.
That's it. Okay. So we're not there yet. It'll be scary if it ever gets to the point.
Sure, but it'd be scarier for a lot of reasons if we get to that point. I mean,
true AI.
True, we get to like machines really thinking for themselves, then we're in trouble.
We're fucked. Skynet's here. We also got Man of War, 665 Neighbor of the Beast member for 12 months. Yep. Last weekend, we celebrated our 1-year anniversary at Slayer Nation. He has a few words to say. Eric K is a great Hollywood whistleblower. That is, if you change the word whistle with skin flute. Wow. Eric K, he's coming after you. You got to do something about that. You got to do something.
And by the way, like writing a script, and it's weird for me to say this.
Okay.
Right, because I saw someone in the comments say that, I have a great idea, but I'm too lazy to learn how to write a script. Writing a script is very easy. It's very easy. It's almost any idiot can do it. It's probably the easiest form of writing is screenwriting. Writing a good script is completely different. That's completely different. Because any fool can write a script.
I've looked at screenwriting programs before years ago when I've shared ideas. I told you before, Dante, when we were on the phone, I was like, I had this idea for a film, but it just didn't feel to me, or maybe I wasn't used to it. It didn't feel to me like when I was writing my books. It was like, pan in, pan out, fade in, fade out. I was
because you have to think in forms of movie and not necessarily because writing a book, you're just writing, narrative where you got in screenwriting, you got to set the scenes. You got to let us know where we are. Are we outside? Are we inside? Are we, inside of a car? Are we, So I mean, is that kind of direction? But if you really look at a script, it's probably the easiest thing in the world to read.
Okay. Well, cool. Now there was something I found that I thought was really a beautiful thing from the inauguration. If everybody hasn't seen this.
Oh yeah, Tyson and Jake Paul.
I was surprised. I gotta say, I was surprised.
I'm not. After their fight, I was pretty sure it was rigged. So
I was actually surprised that.
But good for them. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. I don't really like Jake Paul. I think I've made that clear over the last few months. But that was cool of him the way he did that, and with Tyson especially.
I've kind of turned a leaf on the Paul brothers, man. I
really?
feel like, they're assholes, but I feel like that's also their shtick, right? Like that's That's their brand. Is to kind of be like these viral bros, you know. And surprisingly, both of them are pretty decent athletes, man. Jake Paul isn't a bad boxer, and Logan Paul is actually a pretty good wrestler in WWE. So I mean, they got a little bit of talent, but I think they realize their talent is limited, and so they've made their fortune, you know, just being assholes.
There's just something about them that it just sticks in my craw the way they go about things. I mean, God bless them for whatever they want to do. I just don't like the Pauls. I think
and I get it. And you know what it is?
They smell of used car salesmen.
Yeah, and I think younger guys probably relate to them more than say I do, because
they smell of used car salesmen like a mile away. You remember that? Oh my God! It just reminded me that old Chevy Chase film called Used Cars.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, that was a classic. Love that. I haven't. So we need a film like that. But
Chevy Chase had a few good films, man. I mean, the guy's terrible to work with, but
really,
I don't think Chevy Chase was in Used Cars, unless you're getting two.
Oh, is that Kurt? No, that's
Kurt Russell was in Used. Yeah,
because
Kurt Russell's in Used Cars. Yeah,
Kurt Russell.
You know what? You're right. You're right.
I don't know why,
but it was directed by Robert Zemeckis. Yeah,
but
I remember the boobs.
Yes.
I don't know why.
He did have a few good movies though.
Yeah,
Chevy.
I don't know why Chevy Chase stuck in my mind. Probably because I was watching over the holidays. You know, Vacation, Christmas Vacation, European Vacation. Yeah,
it's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
It must have come out when it must have been a Chevy Chase film came out at the time of Used Cars. Something.
Oh, I'm sure he had something at that period. What year was that again? 81.
Sure, I think so.
Chevy was probably making like at that point, Oh Heavenly
Fletch?
Dog.
No, Fletch was like 86, right?
Yeah, Fletch was like 86. By that point, it was like Oh Heavenly Dog or Foul Play or something. I don't know.
Oh my God, Oh Heavenly Dog.
Foul Play. Isn't that where he gets?
Because he did Vacation in 83. Yeah, that was his big first boost.
Which is the one where he gets the magical powers after some like nuclear waste?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was the Invisible Man one, or is that a different one you're thinking of?
No, I know which one you're talking about.
He
He
moves,
talks about some nuclear.
Okay, that is shit. Which one was it?
Like he does crazy stuff with his mind. He like gets these.
No, I totally remember that movie, man.
I can't remember what the hell it's called. He has these magical powers in there, these crazy scenes.
See, and the problem with looking him up on IMDb is that he's had so many movies that you're going to be scrolling forever, you know. But I know it's one you're talking about.
Modern Problems. That's right. Yeah. I was trying to think of the name. I knew the one you were talking about, but I kept trying to think of that other one that Steve Guttenberg was in. That was the name kept sticking in my head.
Do you know how I'm still pissed off about that reporter with Steve Guttenberg? I am. I don't care. I'm still
know
pissed
who
off.
he is.
The fucking guy didn't know who he was. What is your name, sir? I looked him up. That reporter's like 34, 38 years old. I'm like, you gotta know Steve Guttenberg was an icon. What the hell is
never seen one Police Academy movie?
One?
Well, I mean, if you're under the age of 20, I can understand.
But one? Just one. Cocoon?
Yeah, but he did. He fell off like the proverbial movie map all of a sudden in the 90s. I don't know what happened. It was just like all of a sudden the studios just decided, no, we're not making any more Steve Guttenberg movies.
Well, I mean, all those guys, man, Guttenberg, Paul Reiser, like all those guys just kind of vanished for a while, you know?
They, excuse me. They definitely did. And I think one of the things, I'm actually working on a video about this, talking about somebody who people should forget, but some of the media are using now as kind of like a baseball bat to go after the Trump administration and to push their agenda forward. Did y'all see that woke bishop the other day?
Oh, God.
Yeah. Let's share this with the audience so you can know. During a time of celebration, 24 hours after the inauguration, the president, vice president, many others go to the National Cathedral. And this woke bishop decides that it's just her time.
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals,
Yeah, she hates Mexicans.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about when I was, she does, definitely. This is what I was talking about when I was saying the age of men is here. The woke media is dead, and these, the insane woke and almost these virtue signaling frauds and the fake moralists, all these fringe groups, the DEI, which just today, President Trump scrapped DEI. Actually, it was executive order from Lyndon Baines Johnson. It is executive order 1126. Where did you go?
Well, the fact that she uses the Bible to justify mutilating children is insane to me, man. And also, if we're going to be on that topic, how the hell is she an LGBTQ preacher when the Bible is completely against that lifestyle? So it's like,
that's what I'm talking about. Female bishop. Look, I love women, but I don't think females should be priests. I don't. I don't think females should be reverends. I also don't believe if it was a man in that position, you should be lecturing. You're supposed to be a shepherd, a representative of God, representative of Christ, shepherding your flock.
Well, you know who else doesn't think people should be, women should be leading in the churches? The Bible.
Correct.
The Bible doesn't think like that. Preachers. So it's like, get out of here with this.
Well, Trump
and
is
obviously
just
she had an agenda. Because you know how I know that? Because guess what show she was on this morning?
I have it. Yeah, The View. And again, that's where
right after this.
And you know, that's what I think is disgusting about this. She is hiding behind the cloth and her cross in order to be able to act as an activist and to get out there and push an agenda and to attack the president.
Yeah. I will say this. I think Vance and Trump handled it pretty well.
Yes, they did.
You know, outside of Vance and a few facial expressions, which I don't blame them because I would have.
Come on, you'd have been rolling your eyes too.
I know what Trump was thinking. Trump was like,
"Look, I made it easy for you. There's only two genders now. I'm just trying to figure out which one you are. Is it a little boy? Is it a woman? I can't tell."
I'm telling you, JD Vance was all of us in that moment, man. Because I couldn't keep a straight face either. I would have been like, this bitch.
Yeah, I agree, bro. I agree. Here she is on The View this morning, which, by the way, you're going to see another clip of The View.
Surprise, their fucking prize.
Yep.
Yeah, because she said she's not backing down.
Thank you. So let me ask you this. You seem to have more fearlessness than anyone in Congress right now, ma'am. What made you
don't assume her gender.
That opportunity for this message, or didn't you have any apprehension?
What did you say?
I said, don't assume her gender.
I know.
About it.
It's gender verbal.
My response. Thank you, first of all, for allowing me to be with you today. My responsibility that morning, yesterday morning, was to reflect, to pray with the nation for unity. And as I was pondering what are the foundations of unity, I wanted to emphasize respecting the honor and dignity of every human being.
Except she didn't want to respect and honor the dignity of the new president of the United States, the vice president, everyone in the cathedral. She just wanted to promote her views.
And also, she didn't mention black people. She didn't mention, so she wasn't talking about just people in general, right? She was very specific in who she mentioned.
Yes.
illegals, and the rainbow people.
Right.
Basic honesty and humility. And then I also realized that that unity requires a certain degree of mercy and compassion and understanding. And so knowing that a lot of people, as I said, in our country right now are really scared, I wanted to take the opportunity in the context of that of service for unity to say we need to treat everyone with dignity.
How in the hell did the Whiskeypalians get so weak? Where they're allowing, pardon my language, this activist twat who probably has a cross the size of a railroad tie that she hides behind to allow the church to degrade to such a point where they now have activists. See, if she really wanted to be an activist, she should have gotten a real job where she goes out there, she either runs for office or she goes and becomes an anchor, she puts a nonprofit together and then promote what she believes in. I don't have a problem with that, even if I disagree with you. Go out and do it. But what she's doing is hiding behind the cloth, acting like she's giving a sermon on the mount, except they're not, bread and fish.
And basically being a false prophet, man, talking about trans fucking children. It's like, you
Right.
think
Come
Jesus
on.
will be behind mutilating kids?
Oh my God, he said, spare the children, take care of them, protect them. He would punish anyone who came after the children, but she's up there on her pulpit going, nope, this is wrong. Are you hearing me, President Trump? And you saw the way he was acting. Just
Like I said, Trump handled it very well, man. He just,
I think he did.
he could have got up and left, to be honest with you.
Yeah, she's Episcopalian by what I understand, not a Methodist. Is she a Methodist? By what I understood, she was an Episcopalian. I used to go to the Episcopal Church when I was younger because my school was Episcopal. Even though I'm Jewish and Christian, I'm a unicorn. I believe in the unification of the God and Son. Anyway, that's a whole other story. But she drove me crazy. And The View, the way they treated her.
Oh, yeah.
But like she was their new flag. We're going to see her again on The View. It's going to come back and back. They found a new symbol to rally behind.
And we need to be merciful. I was trying to counter the narrative that is so divisive and polarizing, and in which real people are being harmed.
Okay.
How are real people being harmed here?
She'll never say it because it doesn't exist.
Right. How are real people being harmed? It's like I was talking with a very good friend of mine on the phone a few hours because Monday when I was trying to cover the inauguration, we tried several times. As we started following it, which is a public event, we kept getting knocked off. The stream kept going down. So after it was over, I went to watch it, then came back a few hours later. And a few hours after that, I was talking with a good friend of mine. I'm like, did you see the executive orders that Trump has been signing? One of them happened to be the restoration of, I can't even believe we had to have a president do this, but he wrote an executive order that there are only two sexes, right? And he was like, wait to see how long it takes for magazines and newspapers to start saying Trump is erasing trans. Trump is deleting trans. Trump is memory holding trans. And the first one out of the gate was Mother Jones. Mother Jones came out and was like the headline, Trump is trying to erase the trans community. It's like, no, he isn't.
You know what, man? I feel like at this point they're going to keep spouting this rhetoric. Fine. He's going to do it.
Right.
He's going to do it. Let's just say he's going to do it. Does anyone give a fuck? I'm like,
right,
I mean, they're going to keep pushing this lie. Then okay, we'll just go with it then.
Where is the reflection from the Democrats? That's what I haven't seen yet. They lost. Usually when you get your ass whooped, you take a moment, you step back, and you reflect, and you go, how did I lose? Why did I lose? What am I going to do to get stronger? Where are my flaws? Where's the flaw in my logic? Where is the flaw in my actions? But they're not. They're just doubling down. And if you look at the recent pollings, and if you look at what people are saying both online and offline, you're going to notice that they're thrilled about this new age that has come. Again, I call it a revolution of common sense where we kick crazy to the curb. But Verbal, you're in LA, right? You're in California.
Yeah.
Do you hear anyone doing any reflecting? Like going, why did we lose?
Look,
I just see them just ignoring that like it didn't happen.
Actually, what I have noticed is no one's saying anything out here. No one's talking politics out here too much. Like I haven't really heard a whole lot. Every now and then you'll go to a coffee shop and you'll overhear some conversations, but it's kind of rare right now. And I think I honestly I feel like it's because LA, especially because of the fires, because of everything that's happened over the past couple of years. I think we're just all tired of it, man. I think most of LA is tired of it, even though they're not gonna just come out and publicly say you know, like denounce all this shit. But I think in their heart, they're done. So LA's not as woke as people think it is. Now, San Francisco, on the other hand, it's unsavable. Like Northern California, unsavable. Southern California, I think we're kind of tired of the bullshit.
You're telling me LA is not as woke as I believe it to be?
Well, here's the thing. If it is, they're being very quiet about it. Like it's not like a lot of protests. There's not a lot of, you know, people getting riled up. And again, it could be because of the fires.
You know, there's another fire is starting today in SoCal.
But here's the thing. You have to remember, like, all this shit that's happened, especially under Biden's presidency, has affected us. So probably more than anybody.
I was going to say, though, do you think that if there wasn't the fires, though, that there wouldn't be mostly fiery but peaceful protesting going on right now?
Actually, no, because look, LA has had a hard 4 years under Biden. A hard 4 years, man. I don't think anyone's really happy with the Democratic Party right now in LA. Like they may hate Trump. They may hate Trump, but they're not happy with their party either.
No, they're not, but they have their figureheads, their mastheads who are still doubling down. I'll give you an example, The View. The very next morning, the 21st, you know what the View host said? What happened yesterday? Someone asked us what happened yesterday. Oh, it was Martin Luther King's Day. Did anything else happen? No. Like they're trying to memory hold the inauguration.
That's not LA. That's New York. They're in New York.
Right. I understand. But the way they were, that's why I'm asking, because the way they were speaking, I've always viewed The View as not only representative of New York City, of the Big Apple and the liberal elite, the way they think, but a touch of LA's studio system, the magazine system, the Sacramento. If that's not true, I'm thrilled. They only represent the East Coast.
No, don't get me wrong though. Look, I'm not saying LA has become red all of a sudden.
Right.
Okay, we're not a red city. But my thing is that we've been beat up so much over the past 4 years and we've already seen what a Trump presidency looks like. And guess what? No one died.
No one died. No camp. Nobody was railroaded. No one's had to be hidden. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think a lot of people
the trans
in LA are
people weren't put in camps.
I'm not happy.
Oh my God. That's
we're not happy, but we'll go with it for now. Because look, compared to what we've already had, it can't get any worse.
Oh, no. That's why I said the age of weakness is over, of bashing America. That garbage is done. And Adam Mazant, I understand the guys. They have equal culpability in that. 100%. Whoever put her there, I think they're worse. It's the same way that I view Republicans who come out and they say, you know, I'm conservative or I'm MAGA. And every vote that they take is as radical leftist as you can get. I want people to be honest in being who they are. If you want to be an activist, good luck, God bless, go be an activist. You want to be a politician, good luck, God bless, go be a politician. But you want to be left? Say that. Stand on what you believe. I hate the fucking lies. Anything that begins with a lie ends in tears, period. And then you had these doofuses who are coming on, of course, complaining about what Trump is doing.
So there are only two genders and all of the trans nonsense will end. What's your take on that?
Well, unfortunately for Mr. Trump, America has a constitution and a Supreme
Mr.
Court.
President, fucknut.
And the relevant executive order actually refers to a case called Bostock and Clayton County that was heard in the Supreme Court a couple of years ago and decided on by one of Trump's, the lead judgment is written by one of Trump's nominees to the Supreme Court, which says very specifically that their legislation that's related to discrimination on the basis of sex means that both sexual orientation and gender identity are protected under U.S. law.
Okay. Everyone is protected under U.S. law. The ERA, you saw that Friday before when Biden was still president, how he tried to ratify the 28th Amendment. Did y'all catch that one?
Yeah.
Where he was like, the 28th Amendment is now law of the land. It's like, excuse me, it isn't. So we have a lot of crazy going on. Trump's has been putting out orders, but today, one of the things he did was he
also really quickly. I got to say this, for, you know, and especially right now, I don't want to hear any liberals, anybody on the left, trying to stand on morality, right? Especially after Biden pardoned, gives a pardon,
to his family,
pardon to Fauci, right?
Forget Fauci.
Wait, going back to 2014,
Yes.
And you got to ask yourself, why that date?
Right.
Why 2014? Right? Like, what shady shit was going on between 2014 and now that he had to be pardoned for?
Yeah, we're gonna look into that. Some of it, unfortunately, we can't always say here, but we'll share the links. I think one of the worst things, President Trump stated it. You realize that Biden put those pardons out 20 minutes before he was done as president. Trump was speaking at the inauguration, and he had been giving out pardons to his entire family, to General Milley, to Mary McCord, to Fauci, to the J6 committee. I think some of these are going to be challenged. I think they're going to go. Some people have recommended that they might even go after his mental acuity, saying like, look, he's non-compos mentis, and therefore.
So just so I'm clear,
challenge.
what
Right.
they're saying with these presidential pardons, right? What they're saying is no matter what they did in that time frame, they can't be charged
2014
anything for.
To the future. That's the thing. It's to the future. So it's
so if they kill someone, they cannot be charged.
That's the part I don't understand. Hopefully we'll have Ron back this week and he can explain that, because there are a couple of aspects. I'm not an attorney. I didn't get about that, but starting from 2014, it's just very odd, that the specific date. And then with Fauci, also you had John Bolton, you had President Trump. He rescinded his security clearance. And guess what? I didn't even know he had this. Do you know Bolton had Secret Service protection?
Why?
I don't know. The American taxpayer was paying for Secret Service.
Well, if you've heard any of Michael Bolton's music, he needs protection.
Wow.
Or are we talking about a different guy here? I don't know.
John.
Yeah, John.
Michael Bolton's brother, John.
You know who else had Secret Service protection and Marshal protection to a tune so far of $12 million with a 24-hour chauffeur-driven limousine? Fauci. We were paying 24 hours of protection for him. 24 hours a day. He had Secret Service detail.
But again, why though, right? He supposedly he
a
healed,
lot of people question how
he
he
healed the world
for something
with
he's never
his,
even been charged with.
Correct.
There was some shady shit, man. I feel like Fauci is like one of those, like, Nazi scientists that got a pass or a pardon.
Mengele. Yeah, Menga, I agree with you. Eric K, for $2, play What Really Happened, George. Check X. Tell me, Eric. Send me the link and I'll play it. He's talking about the woke bishop. The woke bishop. Now, the other good news is, like I was saying earlier, Donald Trump drove a stake through DEI today. Completely through DEI. He rescinded Lyndon Baines Johnson Executive Order 11246. Let's take a look at that. That was a beautiful thing that happened. Where do we go? Here we go. Oh, you know who else complained till I bring this up? Ariana Grande came out complaining about Trump's executive order for 2 sexes. Just a little piece of news there.
That wicked bitch.
Yeah, that's a good one. But I'm bummed. President Donald Trump signed an executive order on Wednesday rescinding President Lyndon Baines Johnson's Executive Order 11246, which mandated government contractors take affirmative action. The order more broadly ceases diversity, equity, and inclusion, discrimination in the federal workforce, and in federal contracting and spending, the White House noted. The federal government's hiring practices will now be merit-based. Wow, what a concept. With employees being rewarded for individual initiative, skills, performance, and hard work.
That's racist.
How was it racist? That's what the country was built on. Merit. Merit is back, as well as the age of real men. Hey, Mark of Reality. Great for you to join us. I always love when you're here. Mark of Reality sends in $10. I've heard that CNN is laying off hundreds of employees. Do you think the My Pillow guy could buy them out and have his commercials in all the airports? Ooh, I would love that. And talking about them laying off their employees, Mark. I was holding this, just waiting for when this would pop up. Here we go. CNN, Mark. This is just for you. Hold on. I think some of my videos have higher ratings than CNN. Most definitely. Come on. You know, sometimes there's something wrong with X's bookmarks. It's like you bookmark something and then It disappears. It doesn't refresh all the way. CNN. Come on. 1 second. Here it is. I knew I had it here. Just for Mark.
I was at the White House covering the first Trump administration when they had rioting outside of the White House. I mean, that was covered on CNN. What you're saying, this is not Fox, Congressman. You can't just spin a tail and pull the wool over people's eyes.
Yeah.
This is CNN. This is the news. We are asking you to come on and tell the truth.
And that's why more people are watching the Cartoon Network SpongeBob reruns right now, Jim. Look, I left the White House during a riot. My life was threatened. My life has been threatened within the last few weeks, yet there's no coverage of that. And you all continue this narrative of
proof
Trump. You just can't stand the fact that he won and that America spoke.
Congressman,
and that,
no,
and that your
that's not
view
the
is
case.
very diminished.
That's not the case at all.
And your view is very diminished.
I was at.
I love it, the fact, because what they're really talking about here is how there is no you have Benny Johnson shared, GOP rep Tim Burchett torches Jim Acosta to his face live on CNN. Hey, man, more people are watching the Cartoon Network SpongeBob SquarePants.
Well, they did have the new Nosferatu on there.
Then CNN. Thank you, Mark of Reality. Always good that you're here. Now, Eric K. sent me this. What really happened, what truly happened with the woke bishop? We have to come up with a name for that, Dante. You know, like Pope on a rope. Gotta come up with a name. Gotta come up with a name for this bishop.
In the name of transgender immigrants, I ask you to have mercy on me. Do you need some medicine? I need you to put transgenders' lives first. Whoa, is this a church or a Kamala Harris rally? Mr. Not My President. Illegal immigrants are not criminals! Well, why do they call them illegal? Boom! Building the wall will violate the rights of all the illegal immigrants! That's exactly why I'm building the wall! And just exactly what are you gonna do to help the transgender community, you bastard? I'm gonna make mental institutions great again! Hell yeah! Settle down, you dingbat! This chick is bonkers! Yeah, she should come with a fucking warning label. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children! Keep our children's name out your
You know what? That's funny. I don't think Will Smith ever recovered from that.
You know, he hasn't, but I think at some point he will.
Yeah, Bad Boys 4 did fine.
Yeah.
But didn't Emancipation bomb?
But you know what though? But that's because,
anyway.
That's because people are tired of slave movies, man. So I mean, but like Tom said, Bad Boys actually did pretty good, and it was actually a pretty good movie. So
I liked Bad Boys, but I thought Emancipation was the first test. That's why I asked.
Well, that was right after the slap, like right
yeah.
after. So you know, it was still
and plus in Bad Boys 4, he played into the slap with that scene with Martin Lawrence, which Martin slaps him like 20 times.
Oh yeah.
I will tell you my favorite scene of Bad Boys 4 is when Martin Lawrence is on top of that building with his butt hanging out of the hospital gown. And he's like, look at me, world. And he's like, I got you here. And he's like, hey, man, you want to put that thing away? He's like, I went back. I saw us. He goes, you know, I know why you treat me this way, because I mistreated you. You were my mule. You were my donkey. You were my ass. He goes, I'm so sorry. He's like, what is your problem? Will Smith.
Did you see that in the theaters? Or did you see it on video?
I saw it in the theater.
Okay, because when you see it on streaming or video now, they added a scene during the credits where it goes back in time and you see Will Smith as the donkey.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God. I have to see that.
Yeah, it's during the credits.
I have to see that. I have to see that.
Because I was like watching it on the video and I'm like, all of a sudden the scene pops up. I'm like, I don't remember this in the theater. And then I looked it up and I'm like, yeah, it was added for the video version or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay.
I'm going to go watch that.
It's like, I'm not crazy.
Whoever made this, United Spot. Got to check out more of their stuff.
Can somebody shut this bitch up? Have mercy on the transgenders and illegals, you racist! Can you shut the fuck up? Yeah, shut the fuck up! I'm down here trying to come up with new ways to make America great again, and you're up there looking like the keynote speaker of a which bathroom do I pee in convention. Excuse me! You're excused! I have never! You've never what? Made a rational thought on your own and gone 2 seconds without having a fucking panic attack. No, how dare you? This is church, and you don't belong here. Why don't you go screaming to a pumpkin, you doofus? Yeah, you doofus. Nolan should have won, you psycho! Knock, who's there? Go fuck yourself. Yeah, go fuck yourself. I'm calling the police. Good. You're gonna feel right at home in that straitjacket. I'm a bitch! No, you're an activist and a freaking nut job.
I agree.
Jeez. It's like listening to Rosie O'Donnell taking a shit.
Oh, God.
Oh, Lord.
That was brutal. That was
there's going to be a lot of those.
That was brutal. Ay. What's this, Tom?
I don't know if this is official or if this is something that a fan put together, but I just thought it was hilarious because I'm not even that big of a SpongeBob fan, but I've always loved the Nosferatu joke. So I don't know if you guys are familiar.
I haven't seen it.
It's the new Nosferatu.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the new shows. I don't know. I don't watch SpongeBob, so I just thought it was cool if it is true if they put the new Nosferatu in there now.
Wow.
Nosferatu's already been a character for a while.
I agree. I don't really watch SpongeBob, but that was
neither do I, but I know the meme, so I was like, if I saw that, I'm like, if they really did this, that's cool. Because I know he's been in more episodes than that. They even had like a 3D CGI version for a while or whatever.
And here we have the Wicked Whacker. Whack Wicked. I'm telling you, she looks like she's on a hunger strike. Jesus. Wicked star Ariana Grande called President Donald Trump's executive order stating that the U.S. government will recognize only male and female an attack on trans people. On Monday, President Trump signed an executive order rolling back woke policies enacted by former President Joe Biden, which included removing the word gender from federal documents and replacing it with sex. Grande responded to Trump by sharing an Instagram post from advocates for trans equality, who wrote, "Today is a tough day for our community. The incoming administration campaigned on attacking trans people's lives, healthcare, and dignity, and we're bracing ourselves for what these extremists will try to do next. No matter what comes, we will protect each other." Advocates for Trans Equality's Instagram post continued, "We have fought even harder battles before and won. We'll do it again." Except the entire country doesn't seem to agree with you. Thomas signed for $2. The United Spots account is suspended on X. What? Wow. That is sad news. Thank you for telling me, Thomas Stein. What did they put out that pissed everybody off? It couldn't have been that. There's no way. No way. Now, what did you think about Hexeth? Verbal, Tom? You saw the way that now that his confirmation vote, he's supposed to, they're trying to wrap it up. All of a sudden, his ex-sister-in-law sends in an affidavit that he was abusive physically in his prior marriage. Except his ex-wife comes out immediately and states, "I'm only going to say this once. There was no physical abuse in the marriage." She doesn't want to go through this whole rigmarole. She stated it emphatically, and she's like, "I contacted my attorney." Wow. I looked at that as the death of modern media because they tried to pull their first, Russia. We're going to pull out a fake news hit piece so we can, in order to tank your nominee for...
So I think this is where the shift is going to happen.
Okay.
I think that for the longest time, there were very close to middle of the road, but closer to the left leaning people. Mm-hmm. I think those people now are either straight middle, like myself,
right?
They're just politically homeless, like me, or they're going to the right.
Okay.
And I think it's because of stuff like this. I think it's because for the past 16 years now, maybe 20 years now, we've all known the media has been biased, and but at least it seemed like back in the day they tried to tell the real news, right? We know now though that they don't do that. We've had 20 years of them constantly making up shit, basically. So I think now, and this isn't hyperbole, I think the mainstream media is fucking dead. It's dead.
Right,
Like,
but that's what I'm talking about. They're not reflecting.
The mainstream media says they just don't.
But that's what I'm talking about. No, Nige, I've never seen that. I'm going to have to check it out. I've never watched SpongeBob. I think one episode years ago. But that's what I'm talking about, Verbal. What they're doing is they're not reflecting. They're just repeating the same pattern again. Except this time you had an entire nation give a mandate to 47, give a president a mandate up and down the ballot, because he has Congress, even though it might be, with the House, it might be a slim majority. He also has the Senate. And next week, just so everybody knows, there's supposed to be a surprise announcement that one Democratic senator is walking over to the Republican side, giving them another
George,
seat.
What are they supposed to do? Of course, they're going to the same old. They're going to the same old playbook.
There is one thing to do: be honest, tell the facts, and then if you want to have an opinion, go. Here are the facts. Here's the real news. Sidebar. Here's what I believe.
Hey man, look, I don't know about you, but I'm a huge poker player, and there's a point where you're just pot committed. You're pot, you just got to go all in, right? They have gone all in. It's not, they can't at this point. They can't even turn from it.
Well, they could lose the hand and then go, look, we realized we lost. We went down this road. This isn't where the country wants to go. A lot of us, they just have to take responsibility. People ask me all the time, how can Harry and Meghan, they go ever recoup? How can they ever come back? And I'll say the same rule applies to the media. Harry and Meghan have one shot in their life. Now, with as much damage as they've done, is if they turned around, held a 1 hour, no holds bar interview with an honest journalist who had no limitations put on them, they could turn around and say, guess what? We got married. I wanted to be famous. I wanted to be Queen of Hollywood. And because of that, I let it get to my head. I fucked people over. I screwed everybody. I mean, just literally be bold, based, and honest. And I find that the American people, when they know someone is truthful, when they know the wrongs they've committed, most of them are forgiving. If you had the media go, we hated this guy. We didn't care about truth. All we wanted to do was lie because we wanted to destroy him and everyone he represents. And we destroyed ourselves in the process. I'm talking.
But you're asking them to have the self-awareness of this, right? They don't have the self-awareness, man.
Right. A come to Jesus moment, basically.
You have to understand, some of them are actually zealots. Some of them actually do believe the bullshit that they're spewing, right? And what they do is, in their mind, they'll give themselves a way out, where it's like, yeah, I know I'm lying, but it's for the greater good, right? It's for it's to stop this monster from hurting other people, right? So therefore, I can live with my lies because I'm stopping him from hurting anybody else. That's how they justify this weird shit in their head.
I get that, but at some point, you know how they say that everybody who's addicted to something, doesn't matter if it's alcohol or bad relationships, whatever your personal addiction might be, your wake-up moment is when you're face down in the mud with snot bubbles coming out. Like you hit literally
rock
the bottom. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is their rock bottom, and they still haven't figured it out.
But see, it's not their rock bottom because they still have an audience somehow. They still have people who watch, maybe not as many, but they still have a job, right? And therefore,
maybe that's what the problem is. What's holding them up from having that?
Yeah, they still have a job, so they have no reason to change. They have zero incentive
because they have MSNBC, the lowest ratings of any news network. It has Morning Joe has 200,000 viewers at most. 250 at its peak.
Yeah.
Those are the freak zealots. They don't care about anything except having the red meat thrown at them. Okay, MAGA bad, we good. That's it. As long as they hear that, they'll continue to watch. But
I mean, you have to understand the problem is like, we have shows like Joe Rogan, we have Piers Morgan, we have all these guys who are basically not full of shit. These are guys who will just tell it like it is, and those are the people who are taking up all of those views, right? But if you're on the left, where do you go? Where do you turn to?
Well, maybe that's the point. There is nothing for them on the left. They need that wake up. Like Gothic.
It depends on what you're looking for. If you actually, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. It's like I was going to say real quick before you start, like Gothics, we had her many times on the channel. We've all talked to her. Gothic said she was a radical at one point. She was a radical lefty. And then she had...
So was I.
So same as you. So she had her moment, her walk where she woke up and she's like, holy shit. When is that going to happen for them?
You know, man, I tell people, you know, look, even with everything going on, I still think there needs to be like some grace given, right? Like I saw videos this week of Snoop Dogg, you know, saying stuff in 2016 about black performers performing for Trump and how they were Uncle Toms, they were coons, they were all these different things, right?
now he's there.
And then he performs, right? And people were saying he's a hypocrite. I'm like, okay, maybe, sure.
Right.
Also, though, maybe he had his moment where he woke up, right? Maybe he had his moment where he realized, like I did, I was saying the same goofy shit he was saying back in 2016 when Trump got
what
nominated.
turned it for you? What turned it? What was your Damascus moment? What was the one thing that you went like?
Well, I mean, I was always a little on the like, I don't trust any politician, but I was just more on the left. But I think what really stilled it for me, man, was when I realized how cultish the left was, you know, and I found that out during the lockdowns when I started questioning, you know, the vax and questioning just the virus in general and all these other things I was questioning. And all of a sudden, all these liberal friends of mine were like, hey, what are you doing? You shouldn't be talking like this. And next thing I know, they're unfriending me and all this other shit. And I'm like, okay, if this is what it takes, this is what it takes. And that's when I started thinking, well, if they were wrong about this, they're probably wrong about a lot of things. So I started doing a deep dive into Trump and what he said and didn't say, what he did and what he didn't do. And that's when I started realizing, oh, okay, I bought into some bullshit.
Right. I got you. So it makes sense. So it was a natural progression.
So sometimes
it seems like Anna's going through that. It seems like Anna Kasparian is going through that.
Oh, Anna's having her moment right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what I was going to.
Go ahead, Tom.
I was just going to say, that's kind of where I was going to say. It kind of depends on what you're looking for. If you're actually looking for answers, then you're probably going to veer more towards like Bill Maher and some other people like that, to where they'll probably lead you into some more conservative, you know. But it's eventually just going to lead you to Rogan anyway. Or people
Is it
like
conservative or common sense? We're talking about like
that's the thing. Is unfortunately now conservative is a much larger pool, and that's a whole nother discussion to be had. But my point I was getting to is like otherwise you're just going to keep looking for the confirmation bias, right? So you're just going to keep seeking out the, you know, the View and MSNBC and CNN, and even them have started to realize they have to start reading the room, right? And at the same time, we've got to kind of just give some of them a little leeway on taking so long to get here. So we can't be mean to those people. But at the same time, if you got the other ones where all they want to do is confirmation bias, well, at some point, somebody's going to have to tell these people the truth. Right. And we're learning more and more and more and more and more that the media has done nothing but lie. I mean, we knew it all this time.
They've been gaslighting them for years.
It's getting other, and this is where like it's really difficult with my dad. Right. He's somebody who is so ingrained in this other stuff, and he believes so much of the shit that he's been fed for the last 8 years that nothing I say to him can make any difference. Right. Nothing you show him can make any difference. Trying to get him out of the bubble. And it's like, you know, the way they present the whole thing, he has gotten TDS so bad.
Right. Hello?
No, that's all I really had to say.
Okay. I thought you were.
Yeah, I mean, either you're looking for one or the other at this point, and it doesn't really matter because, like I said, one's a quick path to Rogan, the other way is just staying where you were at, just kind of covering your eyes, sticking your head in the sand, basically, or whatever you want to call it.
I got
you. And I would never look. I'm not going to call myself a Republican or conservative because I'm not. Like I said, I don't belong to either party. I don't care for either party. I'm only at this point in my life, I'm only going to vote for my best interest. Right. And for right now, my best interest is with more of the things on the right. Doesn't mean that I consider myself a conservative. No, because there's still things that I'm very liberal about. But there's a balance, right? There's like Thanos says, you know, it's it's all about the balance, right?
It is about the balance.
And that's what it is for me. Like I you know, and if I find myself dipping too much one way or the other, then I check myself and be like, you know, let me just make sure that these are my thoughts and not somebody else's, right? But because I feel like either way, you know, you could be a cult on either side, man. Believe me, the right has their cult too.
Everybody does.
Yeah, there's a cult on the right just as much as it is on the left. But
I view myself as MAGA. I don't like the GOP today the way it represents, because I view them as another wing of the uniparty. I don't like the left. I don't like the Dems. I don't like the Republicans. And I'm not talking about Republican individuals the same way I'm not talking about.
Sure.
I'm talking about the party. I have
Yeah.
lots of friends who are Democrats. I have lots of friends who are Republican. I despise the uniparty. I like
agree.
MAGA as the rebellion because I've been saying this. Authenticity is the only real flex.
And that's kind of what it is right now. Is it is kind of a unified party of a bunch of people who were left over from the left and some people that were in the right. But I think we're going to see in the next 2 to 4 years, and we're already seeing it in certain areas already, where the right is going to start, and the left media, this is where they're going to catch fire and they're going to continue to live off of and feed off of, is you're going to see a lot of disagreements on the right because you've got too many people now in one side where they disagree on fundamentally on certain things. Because you're going to see the Christian folks clash with some of the folks who are just like, you know what, I don't give a shit if adults want to get married, whether they're guys or gals or whatever. I'm just more worried about if my kid goes to a fucking bathroom, if one of those guys is going to be in there or not. That's all I'm worried about.
Which is logical
compared to the other side, right?
Yeah.
I don't want anybody messing with kids. I don't know why that is such.
Well,
a
they're going to
difficult
clash
thing.
with the general conservatives, is what I was going to say with finishing my point. Like they're
Okay.
totally against all that shit, right? Like,
Yeah,
so
no.
you're gonna. That's just
Tom
one
is-
example.
Tom is totally right about that.
Does anybody know that guy Harry? I can never pronounce his name.
Harry
properly.
Sissy or whatever his
Sissy,
last name
yeah,
is.
Harry's this
Sisson.
fucking
It's Sisson, but I call him Sissy.
Sisson or Sissy. Yeah, good
No,
one.
Verbal's right. He's a sissy.
He is, but he comes out 14 hours after the inauguration, right? 14
Oh, did you see him
hours.
on Piers Morgan?
No, was he on Morgan?
Oh,
I don't-
dude.
I don't know how Morgan has. I don't know how Morgan has him. I
That
would
was
love to go on a
amazing,
Morgan.
man.
I would love to go on Morgan with this guy to rip his ass apart. I would love.
Oh, the
to.
Republicans on that show did. They ripped
thank
him
God.
up.
Thank God. Okay, time for another drink after I.
Yeah, I think I need another shot as well.
There we go. Okay, we'll do it. Here's mine to you, chat.
You guys are
and
going to be so
Joe.
toasty.
Here is Harry.
I'm fine. I'm a professional drinker.
I'm a designated driver at this point. I'm only stoned. We're good.
Here's Harry Sissy.
It's day one of Donald Trump's administration, so let's just take a look at how things are going already. Egg prices have not come
I already want
down.
him to
Gas
shut down.
prices have not come down.
Me
Housing
too.
prices have not come down.
After one
Grocery
day?
prices
My
have not
God.
come down. This is after Donald Trump said his policies will be felt
Because Trump said, you'll see from in one rally, he was like, you'll see day one prices will change. He was talking about the way he's going to put his policies in place. But when they have people like this is what I'm talking about. The Democrats pay this fucknut, right? And when you pay somebody like that, he delegitimizes them for it's the same way Biden, when he put the pardons out for his entire family, after you had the fake news media saying for the first term of President Trump, you know, this man is a criminal, his family are criminals, you're going to watch him pardon him. There are videos of CNN, MSNBC, Stephanopoulos, NBC, CBS constantly drum beating the same thing. He's going to pardon his family. And so when Biden comes into office, he's like, I will never pardon my family. I would never do that, even though we've done nothing wrong. I would never do such a thing because justice is holy, sacrosanct. And what does he do?
I'm protecting everybody.
The horrible Trump red orange monster thingy.
Right. And then
My thing is this though, man. I don't care if Biden pardoned his family. That's fine. Look,
I don't bug you at all.
But
Fauci's the one
whatever,
that
you know,
bugs
it's
me,
like I
yeah.
get it. You know, you want to protect your family. That's yours. I get it. Protecting Fauci though, like that's where
Right.
I'm like, nah, bruh.
Except he swore he would never do it.
Well, we know they're all liars and hypocrites, but I mean,
But he said it on camera. It wasn't like we heard him say it. He said he would never do such thing because that was the label they wanted to brand Trump as, that he was a criminal and that his family were criminals and that he would one day pardon them and even try to pardon himself. And then you have Biden who pardons his son and then pardons his entire family, almost 2 brothers and a sister.
but we had
And then-
to know he wasn't telling the truth back then. Like I knew he was full of
I
shit.
think
I'm like,
my point about that with Harry Sison, Sissy, whatever the hell his name is when I think the pardons that Biden gave out hope to destroy the Democratic Party for the next midterm and at least for the next probably 4 to 8 years, unless something catastrophic happens, because they've not only gone back on their words, they've shown that law is only to be used against their political enemies to further their own power, at the same time to line their pockets with. And it means absolutely nothing to them. They just wipe their ass with the law.
Yeah, but you got to look at it like this, though, man. Right now, Trump kind of has it all, man. Like he
does,
kind of
that's
has
why-
everything he needs right now. It's not even like there's opposition for him at this point.
Correct. That's why I find this funny. So you get a shill like Harry Sissy who comes out. It's not a good look for the Democratic Party. Like if I was a strategist sitting here going, I'd be like, who in the fuck is cutting him a check to say this nonsense that it's less than 24 hours later and egg prices haven't come down? That
But
doesn't.
that's what
now.
Anna. That's what Anna, and even to his credit, Jank. Sometimes to their credit, they have been warning the Democrats for the past 2 years that this was going to happen if they keep this up. Right? They put out warning after warning after warning, and even to his credit, even though I hate to give him credit, even Bill Maher was warning the Democrats, this is going to happen if you guys keep this shit up, right? So they did have voices on their side, like a Rogan, like a, you know what I mean? But they didn't listen to the voices on their side.
And now those voices are really the ones that are gaining ground, right?
Exactly. They're not even their voices anymore. They're ours now.
Yeah, I hope so.
And I don't know if you guys saw this or not, and I couldn't find the original clip, so I grabbed it from the PBD podcast here if you want to bring this up.
Yeah.
But this should just show you how scary it is with Biden the last few years. Like, this motherfucker had no idea what the hell was going on.
I would ask you to listen to everything he says, and then I'll tell you why this is important, and I'm going to show you a chart. Rob, go ahead and play this clip with Speaker Johnson with Barry Weiss.
I do stand by it, and I say this without any personal animus at all. I mean, in some ways, I actually kind of feel sorry for Joe Biden. I mean, he's in the twilight years of his life. He has not been in charge for some time. And I know this by personal observation, and now the whole world knows it, and it's been very, very concerning to me over the last, year and a half since I've had this position.
Can you tell us a story when you say personal observation? What kind
Well,
of
I mean,
thing did you see?
it's public now because the Wall Street Journal got it and put it on the front page. But January a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, I had been asked. I became Speaker in October 2023, and there were all sorts of big national security concerns and everything going on. And I started requesting a meeting with the president because I'm kind of old school. I'm a constitutional law guy. Speaker of the House should be able to talk to the president, especially in times of great national interest and calamity.
Yes.
But they wouldn't let me meet with him, and his staff kept giving me excuses. This went on for like 8 or 9 weeks. I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker, he doesn't have time.
8 or 9
What are you talking
weeks?
about? I'm second in line of the presidency. He has time. I need to talk to him.
8 or 9
We
weeks.
had, I can't say the classified parts, but we had some big national concerns at the time that I was losing sleep over. Finally, I just went to the Hill press corps and I said, the president is not being allowed to meet with the speaker. There's a problem. So they started putting pressure on him. Long story short, they finally relented. They invited me to the White House. I show up and I realize it's actually an ambush because it's not just me and the president. It's also Kamala Harris, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem, the CIA director, everybody. And then, so.
So if you're wondering who was running the country this whole time, there's your answer. So continue, because this gets even better.
I walked in the Oval and I know what this is.
Sorry, you're about to say something. Sorry.
No. I watched this the other day. Continue.
I
so
haven't.
seen
This is crazy.
So Verbal hasn't seen this. You saw this, George. Okay.
Oh yeah, no
They're
problem.
going to hotbox the speaker on Ukraine.
Watch
funding. That's
this.
what it was. This is probably third week of January. We sit down, we're in the midst of it, and the whole conversation, and I'm going, we don't need to have this conversation. The president reaches over just like this. We're sitting right next to the fireplace in the Oval, and he grabs my arm and he says, the speaker and I just need a couple minutes together. Will y'all just leave us alone? And I looked up on the faces of some of the staff standing around the wall, and they're like, oh, no, he did it. So he called it. He's the commander-in-chief. So everybody leaves, and he and I are standing awkwardly in the middle of the Oval Office, right over the rug by that coffee table. And I said, Mr. President, thanks for the moments. This is very important.
Listen,
I got
folks,
some
it's
big
coming.
national security things I need to talk
Listen.
to you about that I think you know, and what do we do? But first, real quickly, Mr. President, can I ask you a question? I cannot answer this from my constituents in Louisiana. Sir, why did you pause LNG exports to Europe? Like, I don't understand, liquefied natural gas is in great demand by our allies. Why would you do that? Because you understand, we just talked about Ukraine. You understand you're fueling Vladimir Putin's war machine because they got to get their gas from him, And he looks at me, stunned with this, and he said, I didn't do that. And I said,
bingo.
Mr. President, yes, you did. It was an executive order, 3 weeks ago. And he goes, no, I didn't do that. And he's arguing with me. I said, Mr. President, respectfully, could I go out here and ask your secretary to print it out? We'll read it together. You definitely did that. And he goes, oh, you talk about natural gas. Yes, sir. He said, no, you misunderstand. He said, what I did is I signed this thing we're gonna conduct a study on the effects of LNG. I said, no, you're not, sir. You paused it. I know. I have the export terminals in my state. I talked to those people this morning. This is doing massive damage to our economy, national security. It occurred to me, Barry, he was not lying to me. He genuinely did not know what he was saying. And I walked out of that meeting with fear and loathing because I thought, we're in serious trouble. Who is running the country?
That's
like,
crazy, man. That is fucking insane.
It is insane because we know who it was.
Wow.
Obama and his lackeys. It was activist radicals.
Dude, oh my God, man. Like I knew shit was bad, but I didn't realize. Wow.
Yeah, Ron and I talked about it the other day when we were trying to do the inauguration stream. I was like, Ron, I don't like the speaker. I don't like Speaker Johnson a lot. I don't think he has a spine. I think he caved too many times to Biden and to the Dems. But I was like, he should have said this a year ago. And Ron was like, well, let's play devil's advocate. If he had said it a year ago, he would have just been slimed by the entire media. They said, GOP just making shit up. That's not true. Biden's in charge. So at least I'm glad he said it. Mark of reality for $2. Why are we funding PBS and NPR? Unfortunately, Mark, thank you for the great question. We're continuing to fund PBS and NPR. It's so entitled leftists can have some background noise while they sip their oat milk lattes and pretend that they're cultured. That's pretty much it. No other reason.
It used to be a cool place for like fucking documentaries on the West and baseball and shit.
A long time ago.
Long time
ago. Not anymore. Now it's just so they can feel they're cultured and in control.
NPR hasn't been that for a very long time.
Well, NPR was just always boring as piss.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and then you had
PBS at least had some stuff like Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers and the documentary.
Yeah, Reading Rainbow, like just a bunch of cool shit. Yeah, for kids.
Exactly.
I liked it a long
time. Now even Sesame Street has trans characters. So I mean, it's
come on, are you kidding me?
Oh no, I'm not kidding.
Wow.
And there was a
decided
trans
not to
puppet.
continue it.
There was a trans puppet on Sesame Street, from what I remember.
Did he have?
I don't remember the trans puppet, but I remember the one with two dads or two moms or something like that.
I'm talking
about that one too.
And then there was the one who had a dad in prison.
So did he flock to Big Bird, or?
I don't even know if they use Big Bird anymore because the actor who played Big Bird died. But last I heard, HBO decided not to continue Sesame Street, so they were looking for other funding.
You know what I used to love? I used to love the segments after the Count was on Dracula. I love the segments where they had the Spider-Man. I used to live for those as a kid.
Electric Company?
Yeah, the Electric Company. Yeah, it was right after. I would love.
Oh no, I totally remember that, man.
Morgan Freeman got his start there.
There was a lot of great shit for kids back then, man.
Morgan Freeman got his start there.
The Sid and Lee Croft shows that would come on, and
hell yeah. I loved Cookie Monster. I loved
time,
Electric Company. I even loved Captain Kangaroo, if anybody remembers Captain Kangaroo.
Of course. Yeah, man.
Trans puppets. I mean,
man, we had some really wholesome good shit back then.
Hell yeah. I mean, do they come with their own little trans furry tampons too? I mean,
oh God.
Unbelievable. There was also good news. I mean, I think Trump has gotten more done before while he was president-elect. Now that he's in, I mean, we have 4 years for him he's going to knock our socks off. But just think about it. How many presidents come into office where things start happening within the first minutes, let alone days and months before?
Stellantis Investments returns 1,500 jobs to their Illinois plant. They're going to produce their new mid-size pickup in Illinois, and they're going to build their next gen Dodge Durango at their Detroit complex.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know what the next gen Dodge Durango looks like. Is that electrified?
So they're moving 1,500 jobs basically from Canada to the U.S. to help build more. And that's just within the first couple of hours. You also had, which I love it, you had the WEF, the World Economic Forum in Davos, having a freak out over Trump's destruction of DEI policies.
But you know what I'm grateful for, man, when I think about it though?
Yes.
Especially after watching that video we just watched, is we know Trump is in control, right? Like we know Trump is in control. It's not people behind him. It's not people, who are speaking for him. It's him. He's in control. Like Biden, was Biden ever president?
He was a puppet.
Well, this is why they never wanted Trump back. Like, this is one thing I kept telling my dad. One of the first things that really kind of turned me towards him was that, you know, both sides didn't want him back when he was getting into the nomination things. It's like, doesn't that tell you anything, Dad? And he's like, no, he's a criminal. It's like, no, it's because he's not a fucking puppet. It's because they know he's not going to go with the status quo. And I wish my dad would watch South Park because he would totally understand. I'm like, if you see that, you get what we're getting at. They're just two sides of the same fucking coin.
Yeah,
they all do the same shit.
Absolutely,
and they all benefit from the same donors.
Exactly.
So
100%.
Can't leave out the donors, man, because
oh no, they're the ones. Oh, well, if you're going to talk about donors, we had another piece of fake news that they've been trying to gaslight everyone with. Y'all saw what happened with Elon Musk. You know, he did supposedly a Nazi salute.
Oh God.
Oh Jesus.
Y'all saw that?
That
unfortunately.
You know what? Here's the thing. They're desperate, man. They're gonna try whatever they can.
I know, but they actually are trying to say that he did a Yahtzee fascistic.
Yeah, because
salute.
they're stupid and they're dishonest.
What's amazing is one of his own engineers did this quick video on it.
Hey guys, Tesla engineer here. I'm going to be breaking down this video from the inauguration. I'm not sure what the hubbub is all about. I'm a scientist, and what really matters here is the angle. Now, the danger zone here is about 135 degrees. We can see that right here. Okay, now, in Euclidean terms, this is what we call the Nazi index, right? If you have an angle, any angle that goes beyond 135 degrees, then boom, you are a Nazi. But here, we have not reached that index yet. We're not in that space yet. However, anything above 135 should be considered in support of the Third Reich. I'm talking about things like futons, reclining beach chair, the time 250 on the clock. All of those are Nazi propaganda. Elon, however, does not reach that far. Now, not only that, but look at the inverted parabola of the mouth here, right? With someone with genocidal beliefs, we would expect at least 10 degrees of additional concavity in the frown. We don't have that. Instead, anybody who's studied 101 geometry knows this. Instead, we obviously have an upside down smile, right? An upside down smile. So clear.
I think that's beautiful. They're trying to make it out. He was sending love from everyone. Oh, there goes another drink. He was sending love from his heart to everyone. I don't always agree with everything Musk says. I don't like everything he stands for, but I believe he was a force for good overall to bring us Trump. Yes, I'm drinking again. Cheers to all of you.
But you know, at the same time, man, my thing is this: do I trust Elon? Do I trust any of these guys? No, of course not. I don't trust any billionaire or politician. Those are just my hangups. But
I do trust Trump in that degree. I'll tell you why. But go on.
No, well, my thing is I trust Trump to do what he says he's going to do for sure. Like, yes. I think he's a man of his word when it comes to that. But as far as just like genuinely, I don't trust people who are like a billionaire or a politician or both. But with Elon, look, man, we've all benefited from X being somewhat of a free speech platform, right? And I'll always give him that.
Hell yeah.
This election would have been very different if he didn't own X.
Could you imagine if Jack was still in charge?
Oh, it would have been. You talk about a rig. You talk about the fix being in. We would have had that. But as far as Elon goes, man, look, at the end of the day, he's a businessman and he does what's good for his own business, right? Do I think he's a Nazi? No. I'm sure he has black people who work for him. He has, Asian, Latin, Indian people who work for him. I don't think he's a racist. I think he's just a billionaire. And the problem is that he's not a billionaire on their side. And that's why they're going to keep coming at him with shit like this.
Right. And a lot of people are pissed because they think Elon pushed out Vivek. Because Vivek is no longer part of Doge.
It's like, I'm sorry, but my thing with Vivek is a little different. I have never trusted nor liked him. And
I agree.
For various reasons. And
he worked with Soros. For me, I said it.
I think he's a snake oil salesman. That's just my opinion, right? Maybe he's not, but I think he is.
I agree with you 100%, my friend, because when I was going on Bay Staff Monday, which we do with Adam Crickler every Monday, and Adam really liked him, and he brought him out, and I said from the beginning, I'm going to give him a shot. I'm going to listen to him. when I checked out his background history, he did 2 deals with Soros. I'm sorry. To me, Soros is the devil incarnate on earth. He has the way he approaches his business, the way he dealt with the United Kingdom and crashing their currency, the way he's tried to place district attorneys all across our country who, once they get into office, stop prosecuting crime in order to crush the system to bring about his utopian, communistic, unholy paradise. So I didn't like that because, like we know, show me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. Then I started listening to Vivek and I really appreciated the way he communicated when he would be challenged. I was like, this man is phenomenal. I loved whenever he would be challenged with something, someone who disagreed with him. I love that the way he would be able to include them in part of his process of understanding his logic, and he would disarm them. But still, it has stuck in my mind that he worked with Soros. I can't get over that. He didn't do it as a child. He was a grown man. And to me, that says, I wanted to make money no matter the cost. And the only thing a man has is his name. And that means your character. Same reason I bash Harry and Meghan all day long. I'll give you an example. Today, I came across the wire.
Like Scarface said, man, you're wording your balls. That's all you got.
That's all you want. That's it. Because everything else in your life can be taken away.
Neither for anybody.
There you go, Tom. 100%.
I got 2 things, man. 2 things.
2 things, man.
And I don't break them for nobody.
I love that. I got 2 things, man. 2.
My word and my boss.
My word and my boss. Yeah, it is. Harry, for the last few years, has said when he was suing the Sun newspaper group, he is the only person who has the capability, the name, and the wherewithal to not settle because he's on a crusade to bring the media out into the light. What happened today? He settled for $10 to $20 million. So that, to me, it's the same thing. Your actions tell everybody everything they need to know about you. And Vivek, he's like, I was proud to work with Soros. I had a good working relationship. You're out. It's like, great. You were proud to work with the devil. For me.
Vivek is a great salesman. He's a good speaker. He has all the right tools. I just never trusted him.
Neither did I. So that he's gone, I'm glad.
I keep hearing different things. Supposedly he's not gone. Supposedly he's going to be running for governor.
He's gone from Doge. They're saying he's gone from Doge. That's what he's gone from. Yeah,
probably.
He's gone from Doge. And the 2 reports that I found was one saying is that he is going to help the Trump administration by going to run for governor of Ohio. He wanted to be named the senator by the current governor of Ohio, but the current governor of Ohio named his lieutenant governor a senator. So he's like, no, I'm going to run for governor in the next cycle. The other report states that Musk's inner circle got tired of Vivek because he would show up to meetings and go, here's my idea for Doge. I'll see you later. Check out. And Musk, having Asperger's and working 18 to 20 hours a day, didn't like the man didn't work at the same pace that he did. So who knows? But we'll see how everything rolls out. We know the media are going to continue to try to split Trump and Musk apart. That's their goal. At the same time, a lot of people are saying that Barron Trump had his moment at the inaugural, like he really stood out. I wanted to see what y'all thought about that. Did you find that?
I just saw where he said something to Biden or something or other. Other than that,
nobody knows what he said. There's like tons of memes, like he leaned over to him. I think verbal froze again.
He did. He's in like almost the same position. Well, this is. I was just going to show you that Morgan Freeman was on Electric Company.
Oh shit!
Okay, brothers and sisters and misses and misters, here's your daddy yo with the sounds to go. No shucking, no jive, and I'm telling you, your music's arriving. Ha ha! What I say? It's Mel Mounds here with our special request game called The Same as Your Name.
Old. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
As we start to wrap up, I tell you one of the other things I liked from Inauguration Days when Trump got to the White House and he was signing the pardons for all the Sixers. There's just a moment. He wasn't rude about it. It was actually very nice. But notice this. He signs them all. And then watch what he does when the guy, one of his staffers. I don't know if it's his body man, which a body man is the one who stands next to the president the entire time. He gets him his coffee. He has his schedule. He is the president's confidant. It's almost like the president's valet who takes care of everything. It's usually somebody between the ages of 25, not really older than 30, because they have to be up at the same time the president is.
Yes, sir. First, we have a list of pardons and commutations relating to events that occurred on January 6, 2021.
Okay, and how many people is this?
I think this order will apply to approximately 1,500 people, sir.
So this is January 6th. These are the hostages. Approximately 1,500 for a pardon.
Yes.
Full pardon.
Full pardon or commutation?
Full pardon. We have about 6 commutations in there where we're doing further research. Nice to see you again.
Did you hear where some places they were giving them a bunch of shit about letting some of these people go, though?
Yeah, there are, Tom, multiple stories that some still have not been released. They were supposed to be released that morning. And there's a couple of judges who are holding them up, which I don't understand how they can. Mark of Reality, if you're still here, if possible, would you possibly know how these judges could hold up the release of the prisoners? I'd love to hear from you. Hey, it's the Phobos, my brother from another mother. Great to see you here.
Yeah, I'd be raising hell.
Well, this is a big one. Anything you want to explain about this? We hope they get them. We hope they come out tonight, frankly. They're expecting it. Approximately 1,500 people. Six commutations.
Were there any cases you did not or pardon?
We're looking at different things, but the commutations would be the ones that we'll take a look, and maybe it'll stay that way, or it'll go to full pardon.
And the order does require the Bureau of Prisons to act immediately on receipt of the pardons and commutation.
See, and that's
wait a minute. Where the hell did it go? How can they do? Okay. What I wanted to show everybody, maybe Tom, you could find it for me. It's the same clip, but it has an extra 25 seconds. What happens is, as you heard the staffer there, he starts explaining about the pardons. And he's talking to the press, and the president turns around and is like, in a kind way, but kind of like saying, maybe you should shut up right now and go get the gentleman released, like get everybody out, because he just starts going into this detail. Well, let me tell you about these pardons. Let's walk this through. And the president's like, yeah, how about you go? We want to get them out now. I thought that was interesting. You can see again the way that Trump's mind works. He could have had the guy blow all day long, blow flowers out, telling the president, look how wonderful it is. Each one of these men, how they have been denied justice. But he's like, no, go release them. I think it was wonderful. Hey, Blitzen! Gifted 10, George, the Giant Slayer memberships. Way to go. Yes, Blitzen, the drinking game is in full swing. Everybody, please go thank Blitzen. What an amazing human being. I appreciate him. We're going to have a hell of a member stream this week. This for you, Blitzen. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. You found it. There it is.
I think so. This is a different angle. It's a little bit longer.
This is a big one.
Yeah, if you move it forward by 30 seconds, that's where it should be.
That way, or it'll go to full pardon.
And the order does require the Bureau of Prisons to act immediately on receipt of the pardons and commutation orders. Sir, this is an example.
Why don't we get that down so they can get them going, right?
It's like, you got them.
This is a proclamation guaranteeing the state's protection against invasion based on the current crisis at the southern border. It invokes various executive powers relating to the ongoing invasion at the southern border.
I wish Mark of Reality was here. I had that question about those pardons.
That those are not going to be blocked by the courts.
I don't think they will. I don't think they can be. They're very straight up.
There's some are.
Why don't you take that and go over here? Can you get him over here, not on the side angle?
He sends one of them to go sit with your friends. The reporter. It's like, go there with your friends. Get out of my way.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. And so I think that's powerful. Man of War 665, Neighbor of the Beast, for $6.65. Hoist goblets to the man who gave birth to worlds filled with heroism, adventure, and the undying spirit of sword and sorcery. Happy birthday to Georgia Giants. No, it's Robert E. Howard. I thought you were sending it to me, brother.
It is his birthday today, 119.
I didn't know that. Wow. You know, he really didn't get discovered till after his death. That's what's amazing.
Yeah, he died pretty young too.
What'd you think about that, Verbal? Are you there? Or are you frozen?
I'm sorry, my thing. What'd you say?
It's like I started to talk to you a few minutes ago, and Tom's like, he's frozen.
No, my sound had cut out for a minute. What did you say?
What do you think about those pardons? The fact is, some of them haven't been released yet.
Oh, I mean, again, at this point, man, it's like there's nothing we could do about it, right? Legally. So every time I hear a pardon now, I'm just kind of like, whatever. At this point, just leave. You know, just.
I'm trying to find out, like,
just leave. Like, okay, you pardoned whoever you want to pardon. There's nothing we could do about it. Fine. Let's just get on.
Yeah, that was Biden's. What I'm trying to find out is President Trump pardoned almost all of the J6ers and then commuted some of their sentences.
Oh, that.
But today, there's still some who have not been released. That there are 2 judges who have blocked them from being released. And I thought if you had a full pardon, and he said,
I don't even know how that's legal.
That's
the
why
president pardons you. That's it, right?
That's why I was asking Mark. Thank you, Mark of Reality, for $5.
Unless they're trying to do some state stuff where they're like, you know,
I don't know. I'm trying to dig into it more. I'm gonna research it more tonight for another show this week. Mark of Reality for $5. I would have to know more about the case itself, but if there are more charges for something unrelated, it's possible, but probably not. Bless you, Mark. I really appreciate that. I want to bring that up.
I mean, that's a good point too. Like maybe if those guys had other charges that had nothing to do with January 6th.
Here's one of the stories. Hold on. Let's see if they provide us any more information to help everybody. It says, despite President Trump's blanket pardon of nearly all patriots persecuted over January 6th by a weaponized Department of Justice, some of these prisoners still remain in the D.C. jail. It is believed Judge Carl Nichols is responsible for the holdup. It is an outrage, but that doesn't tell us that's just an outrage. Okay, why? Also, more proof Washington is a woke mess, a left wing, and we already know about the bishop. Okay, where is this? So that's not a story. I hate crap like that where they tag you and they say, hey, the story is about how these people aren't being released, but we don't know the reason why they're not being released. So we're just telling you they're not being released. Georgia Giants say they're holding them up on state charges, but they have not been convicted of state charges. That's from Istophobos. Okay. What else did I want to share? Let's get this out of the way. And did you see how much heat Jeff Bezos' wife has taken?
How much what?
Heat.
Oh, for being hot?
No, for the boob display.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, for being hot, you know?
You wore a bra to an inaugural, bro.
You know, she's covered up, man. I mean, yeah, you can see some cleave.
You don't think that's a little odd? Going to the inaugural with like a jacket and a boobage.
Well, compared to like Fetterman wearing shorts and a hoodie. You know what I mean? I mean, she's dressed up pretty well compared to him.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Zuckerberg is probably, you know, thankful she wore that.
Yeah, he's thankful because he doesn't care about anything. But yeah, it's just, I don't know.
No, because he was staring at him the whole time.
Just a little bit of class. That's not too much to ask, is it? A little bit of class.
I mean, look, it is what it is. She's a woman of age, you know, and she paid a lot for her surgery, so I'm sure she wants to show it off.
Tucker Carlson stated that the reason he thinks the pardons, to answer your question from earlier, the reason the pardons that Biden gave out to Fauci starting from 2014 is because Fauci, under orders from Obama, is the time when they started the biolabs in Wuhan and in Ukraine. That's what Tucker believes. Mark of Reality for another $5. If it's for state charges, then they need to be moved to a state facility. There's the two sovereigns doctrine, which is a whole video. Oh, I appreciate that because I'm working on a video for that right now. It's going to be my first video. I'm doing a two-parter, one on how the age of men is returned and the age of woke media is finished. And then one on the Sixers. It's going to be my first political video. So that's going to be interesting. Thank you, Mark. Really appreciate that. All righty. One last thing and we're out of here. I thought you might find this interesting. Somehow, Lily Rose Depp's audition video came out for Nosferatu. I thought we'd finish on that. She surprised me with her ability. This is for Nosferatu.
Her audition was like so raw and so intense.
He told me how you sold me to him for gold.
No.
Our love was supposed to be sacred. You never listened!
Her audition was...
I think she was amazing in the show. I think she was amazing in the show. All right.
Me too. I'm glad they went with her instead of Anya.
Is that who they were going to go with?
Yeah, originally it was supposed to be Anya.
Really?
And I like Anya, but I don't think she was right for that role.
No. I tell you who I didn't like in Nosferatu is my one hang-up was Holt. I did not like Holt in the role. I mean,
I had no problem with him.
He just felt lackluster for me. I don't know. There was something missing to him.
His character is supposed to be kind of a dead fish.
I thought that was just Keanu Reeves when he originally played him, because that was a horrible role for Keanu.
No, that's kind of the whole point is that, I mean, it's kind of unsaid in the movie, but that's like that whole scene where he basically like, rough fucks her in the room.
Right.
Because he's never really taken her like a man, right? Like that's the whole thing. Right. She married him thinking he was going to be able to protect her from Nosferatu, and yeah, it's not working. So, I mean, it's her own doing, but still, it's like, yeah, he's supposed to be kind of like a dead fish in that sense, but I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, it just was something, maybe that's what it is, because I love Keanu Reeves, and I didn't like that at all.
What's funny is I think I like Holtz better in Renfield, honestly.
Oh, yes, I loved Renfield. I enjoyed the hell out of Renfield.
Yeah, that was a fun movie.
Yep, I'm going to play this for everybody, and then we are out of here. I love playing Dan Vass National Anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed, and the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight on the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was to them. Oh, say does the star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the hope of the
Huh. So what you got coming up this week for the rest of the week? Verbal? Got any streams planned?
Yeah, working on a few things. But as far as just shows go, you can probably catch me Saturday night on Yellow Flash's show at 7:30 PST. I always get the times kind of messed up. But other than that, I'll be guest hosting with Alan Ng this Friday because Chris Gore is going to be at Sundance. So me and Alan are going to do the show on Friday morning.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I can't wait. I cannot. What time is that?
9 a.m. PST.
Cool. Tom, what you got coming up? Oh, by the way, everybody go to Verbal Riot. Subscribe. We got to get him to 10K.
Yes, please.
Yes.
That would be very nice.
Later on tonight, I'll be on the Physical Media Show over on Fanzine. Otherwise, you can find me on Midnight's Edge After Dark, Midnight's Edge.
Beautiful.
I pop up places like this.
Beautiful. All right, Mecha Jen. God, I got to take another drink before I go. It's like it's not letting me go. It's saying one more. Hold on. Oh, it's gonna fuck with me now. Come on, seriously. You're really. Come on. All right. It's not letting me. I will take a drink. I will show it to you the next time around. Olaf, everybody go thank Olaf and Eric K. Incredible mods. Toxic Wall. It's always great to see you. Mark of Reality, thank you for coming. Man of War, 665, Neighbor of the Beast. You gotta bring it to Eric more. Eric is just waiting, He's just waiting for you. He's got all these burns. Thank you, Max Relax, Mecha J. It's always beautiful to see you all. All righty. If you want to make the rules not serve them and stand tall every time you take a look in the mirror, all you have to remember is we're fighters with one unbreakable rule. We never bow down. We never bend the knee. Always forward.